Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the show today. Really happy to have you here. This is the show for November 8th, 2021, of course. It's November 9th for me, and this is my wedding anniversary, so happy days. I had a little bit of French toast breakfast with the wife. That's nice. She's off to work, of course, and I got my thing, but probably we usually do stuff on the weekend, so I imagine this weekend we'll get ourselves a nice little dinner or something like that. But it's been a nice day. I actually it's weird. Yesterday was like crazy hurricane storm, and today it's just beautiful sunny day. Oh, very nice. I got myself a nice a cup of coffee. I'm sitting here with a bunch of friends, so I'm a happy boy, and I'm going to go over here and share this right now. Hope you guys do the same, and I hope you guys have had yourself a great day. It is Monday for you. Uh, but nevertheless, some people hate Mondays. I've always liked them. Get back to it, kind of get in the role. It's always nice. But we are going to be talking about comic books today, and we got some interesting things to get into, to be sure. I do. Before I get into that, though, Thunder is busy. He'll be back in a second. But before I get into that, I did have a kind of question. I like to do TFTs every now and then on the night owls, as you know, and they're fun. I've been trying to think of how to put a certain one together, but it's a little difficult because there is a certain conspiracy theory. It's a small one though, but I think it's a very interesting one where it's looking at the past and what do we really know of it. Because with Google Maps and you can look at those satellite imagery, people have found all kinds of amazing things. And one of the most amazing things they found is these patterns all over the world. These huge faded structures you can only see the foundations of, and it's quite epic, and it's literally across the whole planet, meaning that there's a lot more to our history than we know, right? And I'm not going to sit here and blame any archaeologist. I don't think they know either. However, that would be an interesting topic to cover, but I'm not sure exactly how to cover it. There's another thing that usually abuts to this, and that is the idea that when you look at a lot of the buildings, these old beautiful brick buildings we've had in the past, and we still have around, and then it's just really cool construction, brick with like a concrete plaster put on the top of them, make them look like castles. The problem is, if you look at the time frame of those things that were built, they clearly weren't built in that time frame. It's weird, dishonest history, and people are suggesting that those buildings are actually much older, and people are actually just were moved into these abandoned cities and inhabited them. Now, I don't know how much truth is that, but it's interesting. I'm just curious if you guys have any ideas how I might tie those things together into an interesting TFT. I don't know. I suppose I could just show pictures or something, but I like to make it more of an interesting presentation. But if you guys have any ideas, let me know. Nevertheless, we are here to talk about comic books today, however, and seeing as Sundar is still busy, I will look who's in the chat, and I'll probably start with my comic book character of the day, I guess. We got Roger and Dave in here. It's a gravy baby. Okay. Let's talk about comics. Absolutely. Rodan flew by. Oh, that's not good. Watch out for that. He's quite destructive, and Josh is keeping an eye on us, which is three eyes actually. It makes a lot of sense, Josh. I understand now that you are a three-eyed monster. Yeah, I get it. I get it. All right. Well, let me go over here and start taking a look at the comic book thing, and hopefully Thunder will be back by then. All righty, let me share it. And as you guys know, each week I have been trying to introduce a new comic book character and talk about them. And this is the one I want to talk about this week, and that is Moon Knight. Now, Moon Knight is one of my favorite characters. I know a lot of people like Moon Knight, and some don't care or are unaware of him. But he's one of the ones I always used to love reading and catching when he was in the comics. And he's an interesting character because he's it didn't come into play initially, but they brought it into play much later. But he is a Jewish guy, and his dad is a rabbi, right? He went off and, this is way, way back, right? But he joined the government. He was the military, special forces, and went on and worked for the CIA. But he got, I don't remember if they told us why, but he left that somehow or another, and he ended up becoming a mercenary. But the problem he has with Hedwig being mercenary is some of the mercenaries, not all, but some of the ones he ran into were pretty vicious and brutal. And he was on a mission in Africa, and he was with another mercenary called Bushman. And this guy was just ridiculous. He was murdering people, and he killed one of the guides. And Mark just tried to save as many people as he could, and he ended up fighting Bushman, and he got beat, and he was basically dying as Bushman went and butchered everybody. Right. So he's just crawling off, trying to survive and find a place basically to die. He crawls into a cave, what he thought was a cave, which is actually the entrance to a sand or dune covered old temple, and he dies in front of the statue of Khonshu. And Khonshu is the god of the moon, god of vengeance, and he decided to resurrect Mark as his moon knight or knight of the moon. And since then, Mark Spector has been going on and being a vengeance vigilante. Now, of course, a lot of people make the comparison to him and Batman, and of course, obviously, he's Marvel's Batman. I mean, he is, but he's way cooler than Batman in certain ways. And you're right, he is underrated, Dave, because he's far more brutal than Batman. He is a true vigilante. Batman, he won't kill, and I get it, and he shouldn't. And Batman's great. I love Batman, but Moon Knight is a much more chaotic and bloody thing. And he also has the problem because he literally has the spirit of a god inside of him. It's driven him quite insane, and he has a split personality disorder at a minimum. And throughout the time of his comic, and they keep relaunching his comics over and over, and they do different weird things with him. Some I like, some I don't. However, this unbalanced and chaotic mental state that he's always in is an interesting aspect to the character. But this is just kind of a small little teeny primer of what Moon Knight is. I really have always, I just enjoyed him. I'd much rather read a Moon Knight comic than a Batman comic. I don't know what to tell you. I understand that it's a ripoff of Batman. I get it. Just done in a different way. But then again, Batman is a ripoff of the Shadow. So, I mean, what do you want? We're always getting influences from other things, and a lot of people get upset about this sometimes. Some don't care, like me. But we got to keep in mind the way the human mind works. A lot of people think that genius is the ability to go from A to C and not go through B. Well, that's ridiculous. The human brain doesn't work like that whatsoever. Matter of fact, we never create new ideas, ever. It's impossible for your brain to do that. Everything we create is from something we already know. We're just applying them in different ways, getting something seemingly new, right? That's how we work. So of course everything comes from something. That's just the way we are. And this is why the term reality is stranger than fiction makes so much sense, because reality is not bound by our knowledge. So anyway, I do like Moon Knight, and I hope you
I like
guys do as
Moon Knight
well.
too. I like the. Hey, we got an Adrian in the waiting room. Let's drag him in. Hello, Adrian. I like the idea, the concept, and even the design of Moon Knight. I like the all white. I think white is a color that is not used enough in superhero costumes. Um, I've always liked Moon Knight. I like the version of him where he's just insane, like he's gone mad.
Mm,
Uh, I think he's a cool character. I think he's very underutilized. And that's a shame because you could do some really cool stuff, especially since you have the tie into Egyptian mythology.
yeah,
Uh, there's a lot of cool stuff you could do with Egyptian mythology.
and
And
he's
it,
Jewish, so keep in mind they're the ones that did all that crap anyway.
yeah,
So
What
there you
year
go.
was Moon Knight created?
Oh, I don't know. Back in the 70s, at some point, maybe
So
even
he was
sooner. Yeah.
he was like a Bronze Age character.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because I
Okay.
remember when I was a little teeny kid reading Moon Knight.
75.
Yeah.
Is there like
75.
similarities between him and like Doctor Fate in the way that they are, or
No,
are they
not at all.
pretty separated?
Not at all. No.
I've never really read much in Moon Knight, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like Doctor Fate. That's another character I'm sure I'll focus on in the future. He's a cool character. But that's extremely different. It's not. It's there's no connection. However, there was a period with Moon Knight where I think they got him perfectly right, and then they ran away from it. I don't know why, because there was a point where and it made him so much different Batman too, because more full the moon is, the more powerful his body became. And when you had the 3 nights of the full moon, he literally could throw cars at people. Right, that's how powerful and strong he became. I like that aspect of Moon Knight, but they just run away from it, and then all of a sudden someone will do a little limited series and he's got it again. I don't know. I wish they'd just be consistent with it because it makes
Yeah,
sense. It makes him different. It adds that supernatural layer which he should have anyway. Right?
yeah, I agree. I think he works better as some form of supernatural character,
Yeah.
um, a mystical Batman. I think that's perfect for him, and that's what they should do with him. He just has such a unique look, like
Yeah.
the all white, the cowl of his is similar to others, but it's just I don't know. They've done different iterations of him, and I think right there that one's probably my favorite one. Right there,
Oh,
that
it's
that
gorgeous.
design,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's so gorgeous. Like you said, it's gorgeous, but it's simple and intimidating.
Yeah. And another thing, Adrian, that makes him interesting is the fact that his first move is to break your leg or snap your neck. He
Yeah,
doesn't go soft on it. His first move is to brutalize you, right? Where it takes Batman a minute to get angry enough to actually start breaking bones, right? Um, he's just on that edge instantly. And Adrian mentioned Doctor Fate. Doctor Fate, which well, I'll talk about Doctor Fate. I think it's a good character. But Doctor Fate is a helmet. I mean, that's what he
basically, yeah.
is. He's a helmet.
Right.
It's not a it's not a person. Anybody could be in Doctor Fate, right?
Plus, Moon Knight's got such a cool name, Mark Spector. That's a great name.
Oh yeah,
That's a great comic book name. If
yeah,
it
it
could
is.
fit in any era, it's just good.
Yep,
I
I
think they
agree.
should make him a little bit more spectral, a little bit more ethereal,
Yeah, lean into it, right?
powered by the power of the moon.
Yeah, lean
That's
into it,
awesome.
man.
That's
You know.
awesome. You could do cool stuff with him too, because all throughout history, in different parts of the world, they've had different cult-like rituals with the moon and things, and
Sure.
witching hour is midnight when the moon's at its highest, and
Hmm.
all these things. You could do really cool stuff if you leaned into the like occultic and ancient Egyptian part of his character
Yeah.
instead of just having him be basically a knockoff Batman. I think you could just have him give him because somebody said in the chat he doesn't have a good rogues gallery. That's his big problem, and I agree with you. He doesn't
Yes.
really.
Because he kills them
Uh,
all.
yes, but that right there, the solution to that is to give him otherworldly beings to fight.
Yeah.
Right,
Well,
let him be supernatural, and let him fight supernatural forces that only come out at night. That could
right.
even be his tagline. That only comes out at night. That's what
Well,
he fights. The things that only come out at night.
the new book is going back. The new book that's coming out, which I've read, is okay, is going back to his origins, where he did do that. That's where he's
Yeah.
coming from. Werewolf by Night, Blade, the dark side of the horrific side of Marvel, and returning to that where he's hunting vampires. You're right. That's what he is, and it's what he should do. And I
Yeah.
really wish they would dump more supernatural stuff on him as well. I think it'd be perfect. But you're 100% right, and they know
Let
that.
him be let him be some kind of like he has his Khonshu's power in him. He not only has like basic superhero stuff where he's strong and fast and tough, but he can use magic. Like you can lean into some really cool powers under the concept of a moon and old pagan moon rituals and Egyptian moon rituals. Like so many cultures had with pantheons and things had a reverence for the moon just like they did the sun. Lean into it. He's called Moon Knight. Let him do cool moon things and have cool moon powers. I don't understand the issue.
Yeah, and I agree, Elrod. But I mean, I love him anyway. I don't. He doesn't need no rogues gallery. But no, I think what they should do is because the easiest way to do it would just be that he's finally come to terms with the spirit inside of him, and he in a way gives in and becomes one with the spirit, and then he gains his full power. That would
Yep.
probably be the easiest way to explain this decades of what they've been doing. But anyway, now
And he
Adrian.
seems to have like a very pulpy flavored background.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah,
I
absolutely.
remember a lot of old pulps used to have a lot of that occult
Oh yeah.
stuff within it. So like they really should lean into that kind of thing with this character.
Well, who is your favorite supernatural magic based type of character?
Uh, I am partial to Doctor Strange
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
He's good.
because of Ditko
Oh, that was
mainly.
awesome. Oh, those panels are amazing, dude.
Yeah, they are good.
Yeah. Um,
He has fought Dracula before,
I
gentlemen.
like Doctor Fate. I like Doctor Fate. I like the Spectre.
Oh, the Spectre's way
Um,
overpowered though.
yeah, he's way overpowered.
Good name
Uh,
though. Spectre.
Going back to old school, the Mandrake had some pretty interesting stories back in the day.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I like that old horror stuff. I've always preferred it. X-Men of course is science more than it is supernatural, but come on. Claremont put them solidly in the horror genre, didn't he?
Mm.
Oh yeah,
For a
yeah,
lot of
for
it,
sure.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
My answer to that is completely self-serving. It's Satana because she's hot.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
oh
true.
yeah,
She
but
wins.
do you remember her father?
Yes.
Okay.
Um, I'm a no. In all seriousness, though, it probably for me is Doctor Strange as well.
Yeah, he
He's
is
just
cool.
such a cool and such a powerful character. You know, he's one of those characters where he moves and the universe moves with him. I like that. I've always liked overpowered characters. It's just what I like. You know, it's one of the reasons I
I
like
tend to
Thor.
be
It's one of
that
the
way
reasons I
too.
like Superman. Um, but Moon Knight could be that guy if
Could
they
be.
would do it with him. If they lean into it, let him be the supernatural crime fighter or one of them. Him and Blade together could be awesome. Like
They used to be. That's my point. They
they could
used to
be
be
like
together.
not like buddy cops, but like rivals, right? Where they're doing the same thing, but they're not on the same page. And you could do some really cool stuff there with them having antagonism towards each other, not like openly trying to hurt each other, but they keep getting in each other's way. Like you could have a
Just like
really
a
cool,
competition type deal,
yeah, a really cool
somewhat.
rivalry with them.
Yeah.
And I don't know. There's just so much more you could do with it, and there's just this lack of creativity, and it breaks my heart because they have all
Yeah.
these cool characters with really cool origins and backstories. And what do we get? We get 5 different Spider-Men. We get
Well,
we
I'm going to
get we
cover
get
that today,
X-Men that
actually.
don't make any
Yeah.
sense. We get a Venom movie that connects to nothing now. Then wait, no, actually it does connect because we need it to now. It's just that's what I say
Yeah.
to them.
Yeah. No, and
Elrod said that he thinks the Shadow is the best supernatural character,
Shadow still is
Shadow's
badass. Yeah,
good.
he is. Yeah,
and
that's true.
Etrigan, the demon Argos, is
Yeah,
suggesting,
Bill.
which I've
Yeah.
never really read much Etrigan
Oh,
stuff.
Etrick
So
and the Demon's cool, dude. That's a
Would
cool
you
character.
consider
Yeah.
would you consider Ghost Rider? I mean, he's supernatural. Would you
oh yeah,
consider him magical or
Yeah,
just
no.
supernatural?
He's definitely supernatural character. Yeah, without
Then
question.
I'm gonna switch over to Ghost Rider. I've always thought Ghost Rider's he's just cool. Just a
And
cool character, cool design.
and the cool thing about Ghost Rider is you can make a modern, contemporary Ghost Rider. You can change it up, right?
Yep.
It's not limited to this one person. And I'm going to cover that a little bit today too. But Etrigan the Demon is really cool, dude. That's tied into the old Arthurian stories that the comics like to talk about every now and then. But yeah, no, Moon Knight's cool. They do have a new comic. It's okay. He is fighting vampires again, which is
Yep.
cool, as he should be. Marvel needs to dump shared universes. It keeps good characters from developing. Elrod says, I agree with that in a way, because what they used to do was just that, right? You'd have your character is in his own little world, and maybe every year they'd have like an annual or something like that, where they would have some crossovers, or they would mainly use teams, like say the Avengers, to cross them over, right? But now the
Yeah.
Avengers is like a set thing, right? I don't know. I agree, Elrod. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not.
I think he's right there too. I think it this shared universe stuff on occasion is good, but it seems like it's oversaturated and over bloated the world.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's true. Like, Adrian, if I was going to make a Moon Knight movie or TV series or something like that, the very first scene of it we see his moon copter flying over with Frenchie at the controls, him just dropping out, let crash landing on the ground, and just running through, taking out an army of vampires as he rushes into a castle. That's
I like
freaking
it.
Moon Knight, dude. Right?
I like it.
Yeah, that'd be badass.
I
But
think what Marvel should do, and really they kind of have done this, but they should really lean into it, is they have different facets of their universe, of their whole multiverse, whatever you want to call it. Leave those to where those interact with each other. What I mean by that is magical characters can interact with magical characters, but they kind of stay in their own world.
yeah.
Whereas the more scientific characters can sometimes interact. Street level guys like your Spider Man and Daredevil and stuff. I don't have any problem with them crossing over, especially since they're all like in New York. It makes sense. Um, but I don't. I actually agree that the having this big, broad, giant universe where all these characters can interact at pretty much any time, whenever the writer wants them to. I think it does kind of take away because one of the problems with like DC's universe, and they've even addressed this multiple times, is Superman. He's just, why do you need to do much of anything if you have Superman there? Why do
That's
you need all
true.
these other
That's
people?
true. Yeah.
And I think that's a big problem when even if it's not a character who's powerful, just somebody who's really, really popular, that popularity is going to make the audience only care about them or only want to see them, which is one of the reasons we have so many Spider-Man books. Um, and it diminishes others. Whereas if you set them in their own place, they have a chance to actually build their own momentum, and it doesn't feel like they're in somebody else's wake.
Hmm. You know,
Yeah, I would agree.
yeah, the Superman thing's a good point. If realistically looking at it, if Superman was real, the
Yeah.
only time any other hero would have time to do anything is if Superman felt a little compassion for him. It's like, oh, I'll let them take care of that. I mean, literally,
Right.
because Superman would be moving all over at incredible speeds. 1 second he's in China, the next second he's in Mexico. He could
And he
do
doesn't need to
everything,
stop. He
right?
doesn't need to rest or anything. Like, he can just
No.
keep going. So,
So he literally is just, all right, okay, you take it. Let me watch for half a second. All right, you get it. I'm going. Right. I mean,
right.
that's really what the reality would be. So I agree. Go back to that more insular type of character stuff. But anyway,
Did
Moon
you ever
Knight.
read Annihilation?
Oh, the Fantastic Four one.
No, no. It's the Annihilation was all space related stuff where the Annihilation wave was coming from
Oh, I
space,
was thinking of Annihilus. I do
wiping out
apologize.
everything. And well, Annihilus was in it. He was the main bad guy, but
Well, that's it.
Thanos was one of the main heroes in it.
Uh-huh.
It was written by Lanning and Abnett. I recommend it because it's
Okay.
all the space world of Marvel pretty much in its own series. It's like it's all insulated within outer space. None of it's taking place on Earth for the most part.
Oh,
It's all
that's
taking
interesting.
place
Yeah, I like the
off
ones that.
in a distant galaxy.
Yeah, no, I like the ones that do stuff like that. And Marvel, in particular, has developed their galactic cosmology fairly well. I mean, you got the Shire Empire, you
Yeah,
got the Kree, you have the Skrulls. I mean, and many things in between. I had these. I still have them, but way back they came out with these. Oh God, this is a long time ago. They came out with these books, and they're comic books, but they're kind of the thick ones, like double or triple size ones. And inside, all it is just there was like four of them. It's just the layout of all the different races in the Marvel universe, and of course they're all from different planets, right? And each page would have like six on it, I think, or something like that, and a little blurb about them or the before. I can't remember, but it was really cool little comic books. It's not a comic book; it's just an encyclopedia, I guess. But I don't know if anyone's read those, but those were kind of cool.
I know what you're talking about. I've read a few of those.
Yeah, it's neat. Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Um.
they did develop a lot.
Yeah. Well, the thing that I liked the most about it was the Avengers didn't show up. Like none of the Earth characters really showed up. I think, and it was like the start of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Not the start of it, but it was like the modern iteration of Guardians of the Galaxy. That was one of the most popular books in that Annihilation stuff
Oh, I
to
see.
come out.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, no, and that it is cool when they're looking at those things individually. But nevertheless, let's move on. But if you haven't checked out any Moon Knight, suggest you do. He's kind of a cool character. All right,
Yeah,
let's
I might
move
have
on
to
here.
check them out.
All righty, here. Go ahead, Thundero.
Let me try that again. Rambo, Hellboy, The Expendables. Oh, goddamn it. And Has Fallen TV series revealed as in development. All right, listen, before we get into this, Spencer, buddy, your commas are all over the place. What are you
No,
doing?
I,
He's got a comma before the and then after the fallen, there should be a comma as well to let you know that you should pause there because it's not Has Fallen TV, it's Has Fallen TV series.
comma. Yeah.
Ugh.
That's okay. It's okay. We're not going to be grandma Nazis.
It's just hard to read when you're trying to
Yeah,
read
I
it out
know. I
loud.
do
You're
it
like,
all the
oh,
time.
what?
All right. Well, there's a couple of things in this article though I want to talk about. First of all, TV series for Rambo, which we already had a cartoon series, right? Hellboy, which I
Yeah.
think is made for a TV series, to be honest with you. The Expendables, fair enough. I mean, it's just a special hit squad type of thing. And it says the has fallen. Well, it means Olympus has fallen, London has fallen, the
Yeah.
Gerard Butler stuff. I love Gerard Butler. I enjoyed those series immensely. I don't know how that one and the Expendables or even Rambo would be that different. But okay. This is also in this article is talking about the new Red Sonja series, so it's not just those.
Starring a
However,
black woman. Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to show that. I'll show it right now. The new Red Sonja lady is her name is Hannah something Kemen, Hammond John Kemen. And yeah, this is your Red Sonja. You ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Here you go. Uh huh.
Yeah. I mean, that screams Red Sonja to me. I don't know what your
Yeah,
problem is.
yeah. She's a mulatto
Looks
girl.
just, looks just like her.
Yeah, just like her. I
And the
suppose
worst part
they'll.
is they always pick ugly mulatto girls to do it.
I
Like, what?
know, because there's some
At least pick
gorgeous
up.
mulatto
There's.
girls, dude. There's
I
some
know.
gorgeous ones.
But they
But
always pick ones that look like they have like a little bit of Down syndrome, and
Why
I
do they have to
can't,
do this to me, honestly? Why?
speak up a
can't
little
get
That
bit,
looks like
Adrian.
along.
a. I said, why do they have to do this to me? Like, I'm pissed
I'm sure they'll
at
dye
seeing
her hair
that.
red.
I
Yeah,
don't
don't
give
worry.
a
They'll
fuck.
put a red wig on her. Yeah,
She looks like a man, first of all, with a
Well,
a bit.
wig. And
she's got
second
to.
of
They
all,
have to be ugly,
uh,
and that's the thing.
it's
They
not
must
Red
be ugly.
Sonja.
It's not Red Sonja. No, it's not.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Especially.
Maybe they'll put her in whiteface. Maybe
Doin is rolling in his grave.
Well, to be honest with you, there's a lot of photos of her where they do lighten her up quite a bit. I don't know if you noticed, but Hollywood does that a lot, especially in the
yeah.
entertainment industry. They lighten up the black people as much as they can for some reason. I don't know what the point of that is, but I tried to find photos that showed her in natural light. This one is just a photo shoot in front of something she did. The dark. Crystal, I guess she was a voice actor, maybe. This one's outside, so we get a we. This is probably the most natural look at who she is, and she's not rocking much makeup or any makeup here. She got a little bit, I guess, foundation, but she's not a pretty girl. But of course, we know that doing intentionally. I don't blame her for that, though. It's not her fault.
Can't help
And
how she looks.
and if she's making money, good for her.
And I'll give her this. She's putting in effort. She's trying. She's not like she's not a skank. She doesn't look skanky or anything.
No, no,
She keeps herself up.
yeah, she's
Um,
fit.
it's
She's
just
definitely fit. Yeah,
she's not Red Sonja.
no.
Like, sorry to tell
No,
you, world.
she's not.
I would rather you give me a terrible, absolutely terrible actress. I don't even care as long as she's smoking. That's the prerequisite
Well,
number one for Red Sonja. She has to be ridiculously sexy.
yeah, that's true, and they keep and they keep talk about cultural appropriation. Well, you're appropriating Celtic culture here. I mean, the
Yeah,
thing they don't understand about Howard's work is what he was intending to do with all his characters was recreate the ancient. Well, Solomon Kane's a little different, but he was trying to recreate the ancient world after the fall of Atlantis. So
yeah,
his
Yeah.
maps, if you look at his maps in his world, it's how it would be where the flood waters haven't come in completely yet,
Right.
Doggerland and things like that. He's a Cimmerian, right? He's not a Sumerian, he's a Cimmerian, right?
Yeah, that's
And
why there's so many different names that are similar to
yeah,
actual cultures.
mm, he was taking a note out of Tolkien's book, right? He was trying to recreate a thing. So there is historical referencing. Howard is, in essence, creating his idea of history. And these are Celtic characters. That's what they are. So you want to go on about cultural appropriation? Well, you're appropriating them,
Yeah.
right?
well,
Clearly, it's
it's
all.
okay if you do it to white folk. Apparently,
Yeah.
it's okay to erase. You know how they'll go on and on and on and on and on about black erasure or brown erasure, but it's okay to do it to gingers. Apparently,
No,
that's fine.
they hate redheads with
Yeah,
a passion.
the ginger
Um,
side is real.
yeah. But let's talk about three of these real quick, and we'll focus on one of them a little more in depth. Do we care to get a Rambo series? Does anyone care about a Rambo series? It's not going to have Sylvester Stallone.
If it no, that was what I was about to say. If it had Sylvester Stallone in it, and maybe it was him setting up like passing the torch to somebody cool, maybe. But it's not going to most likely, so no.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't think so either. Does anyone want an Expendables live action TV series?
I've never even seen a single Expendables
Maybe.
movie.
Maybe.
I
I
could
agree.
be maybe okay
Maybe.
with that. Yeah.
Maybe. How about the Has Fallen TV series?
No,
No.
Not really. Yeah.
it
No.
need that because that needs to be a movie.
Yeah,
The
I
the
agree.
Yep.
concept of it is supposed to be big, important places have been overrun, and somebody has to go deal with that. It doesn't
Right.
make much sense to do that small budget.
It just feel like I have a feeling it'd feel like a 24 season or something.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, no, that's true. No, I agree. The Has Fallen series is better as a movie. Expendables maybe. Rambo, put it to bed. I agree 100%. I think Howard published this stuff before Tolkien, Jeff said. I'm not sure about that, but do keep in mind all of these guys were writing their entire life. They were all in communication, Lovecraft as well. They knew each other. They sent letters back and forth. So there's influencing each other all over the place, without question. The only universal thing we have is all those writers agree that H.P. Lovecraft and Tolkien were the men. They were the men. They were badass, and they were highly respected by all those other great writers of the time. That's all I
Yeah,
meant.
you're.
That's all I meant by that. But
Well,
yeah,
uh, Howard died in 36,
hmm
1936. The Hobbit was published in 1937. So
yeah.
do with that with what you will.
Yeah, but these guys were writing short stories and interacting.
Yes.
It was, they were quite lively communication between authors at that time. I mean, real authors, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It doesn't happen as much today, which is unfortunate, I think. Which is weird because it's easier to do today. But
there's too
whatever,
much competition nowadays, I'd say.
I suppose. But
Um,
yeah,
I
uh,
mean, when you think about how crazy it is that C.S. Lewis and Tolkien were like very close friends, that just blows my mind. These are two of the most prolific writers ever, especially in their genres, and there they are,
Tolkien was a
just being
huge
buddies.
influence upon C.S. Lewis. Tolkien was a huge influence
oh
to
yeah.
him.
Yeah,
Well, they used to
the-
sit at that pub there and drink beer or ale, probably,
yeah,
chatting about writing and sharing their recent chapters and stuff with each other.
craziness.
It's
Just
really cool.
imagine just sitting there, being like, "All right, just talk,
Yeah, no, I just sit
just say
like a
something."
fly on the wall having to listen, right? That'd be cool as hell, dude. But anyway, let's talk about the last one here, because all the rest of it I think is okay. Hellboy. Hellboy was built to be a TV series, not a movie
Yeah,
series.
I agree.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly agree.
And
I think you could easily do it. The biggest problem would be making Hellboy look believable, make him look good.
yeah, yeah.
But you give that to the right creatives, you give that to the right studio, the right prosthetics team and such, and they could pull that off. I've seen some amazing stuff on television series.
Oh yeah, it can be pulled off for sure.
Yeah,
It can be. Yeah.
they could do it, I think. And I think it would be great. I actually think Hellboy would work as a it would also work as like an Amazon animated show. One of
Oh, yeah.
those with
Easy.
very similar to Invincible and stuff like that. I think you could do really cool shit with Hellboy. Hellboy is the perfect one for it, especially since what he does kind of fits a episodic show more
yeah.
so than Rambo or these other ones would.
Well, just put it
So
in BPR RD. Just do
yeah,
that.
that's it. You wouldn't even have to call it Hellboy; just call it that BPRD,
Yeah.
and there you go. And then he doesn't have to be in it constantly if you need to
Yep.
save budget. If you're doing live action, done.
Well, true.
Yeah, he
But
could be more like a character that shows up like Superman has to show up a lot of times.
yeah,
Yep.
that's true. And the thing is, like this reboot they did with 2019 here of this Hellboy, I don't mind how he looked. I didn't mind the guy doing it. The problem had nothing to do with him. It was that it was horribly written and even more horribly edited. It was
Yeah.
just really bad. That's
It was
what
slapdashed.
it was horrible.
It
Yeah,
felt
but he was
slapdashed,
fine.
like they just threw it together. It wasn't put together with any kind of care or any kind of professionalism. The first two Hellboy movies were they were very well made movies, even if they might not have been the best films of all time, but they were technically very good. Especially that second one. That second one is amazing.
Del Toro's badass, dude. I mean,
The second one didn't get enough credit for how good it actually
gorgeous.
was, in my opinion.
Absolutely beautiful.
And between Guillermo and Ron Perlman, they caught the attitude of Hellboy well. Whereas this one
100%.
didn't. His attitude in this was all over the place. It was not Hellboy at all. I was talking more about the look of the guy. I mean, I think it looks fine.
Yeah.
But Ron Perlman and with the direction of Guillermo, that was Hellboy. He's sarcastic. He doesn't really give a shit. He's like, oh God, this again. He's got that attitude, right?
Yeah.
No, aside from the fact that Perlman's an insane man, when it came to playing that character, he nailed it. He nailed the
He was
the
really good.
charisma.
Yeah.
He nailed the attitude, like you're saying. Like he had that personality. That what's the word I'm looking for? The Wolverine's very similar to this too, where you gravitas. Yes, he has that and then he also has that attitude where he's just like, I don't really give a fuck. He's just got like that badassery about him. And I think he pulled that off. Perlman has shown over and over in different roles that he can embody that very well. And he did great with Hellboy. The big problem with making a Hellboy show is you have to find the right lead. If you're going to make him the lead of the show, which I don't even think is necessary, I think you can just do the RPBD, and it would be fine with him just showing up, occasionally or whatever. But if you were going to make a Hellboy series with him as the lead, most of it's going to come down to whoever you pick, because if they don't have it, it's not going to work.
It's true. It's true. Anything you add to that, Adrian?
No, I agree 100% with what he said. It all those parts of the formula has to work.
Moxie.
I
Yeah,
agree.
Dave's right.
Now,
Moxie.
These are all being proposed and coming from Millennial Medium. This is the company that's doing this. Here they are right here. And they've done things like the Protege, Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, which I enjoyed, Jolt, which I haven't seen. Yeah. Expendables they've done, Angel Hit. So they did the Fallen series, which makes sense. They own the rights. So I don't mind this company because I've enjoyed the mechanic. Was a good, pretty good reboot. It's not as good as the Charles Bronson one, but I mean, come on. How are you going to be?
You're dealing with Charles Bronson.
That's right.
Just not gonna. You're
It's
not
gonna
gonna
happen.
beat Charles Bronson.
Yes, but I thought Statham did an okay job. So
I agree.
Yeah, this is a capable company.
Is that Orlando Bloom on the end of that poster? Or is he in the middle?
He's in the
He's
middle.
in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay, I was about to
In the
say, what the
middle.
hell happened to him? Okay, never mind.
You got Clint's son is in here, and you got this Laundry Jones. I don't know who he is. He's the guy on the far right here, because that's
Yeah.
Clinton's kid. There's Bloom. I don't know who he is, but you got
Basically, they've done a lot of action movies in recent years, like the more traditional kind of
yeah,
style action movies.
and they're pretty good. I like I said,
They're
I
not
love
bad.
the Has Fallen series. I think it's good.
I just want to see Scott Eastwood play a biopic of his father
Oh
because
God.
he would. It's
That'd be
ridiculous
amazing.
how much he looks like his dad. He's got the eyes. You do his makeup the right way, get his hair cut the right way, lighten his hair a little because he's got darker hair than
He's
his
too
dad.
muscly though.
Well, you can thin him out. It don't take long. And there you go. Now, yeah, he isn't lanky like Clint
Yeah,
was,
Clint has
especially
that
young Clint.
long drink of water look to him. You know.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, which
definitely not
really
lanky.
worked with
Yeah,
like
it
like
does.
High
Yeah.
Plains Drifter and those other like where he's playing this mysterious character and like oh man. But I think he can
Airplanes
pull it off.
Drifter.
Yeah, that was a
No,
good
High
movie.
Plains Drifter's a masterpiece, bro. It's an absolute
Yeah, it
masterpiece.
is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I just want to show this offhand with the Millennium Media because they're capable. These guys can put out good stuff. So it's no, not that one. Where am I? I'm still over here. Jesus. I don't know. Some of this could be fun. I don't know if this all needs to be a series. But the Expendables probably would be okay. And I'd love to have a good BPRD. I think that would be a way to go. They can introduce so many other interesting characters. I mean, if you look
Yep,
at the Guillermo's movies, I mean, who are the cool little characters that stick with you? Abe Sapien, right?
yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. In this reboot, I
There's just
mean,
so many characters in that world that they could play with.
yep,
It's
yeah,
Well,
and
even what you could do if you're going to do focus more on the agency itself, you could just have it be about two young agents who are in Hellboy's shadow and have it be like a buddy cop show. Living in
yeah.
that world, dealing with the stuff while Hellboy's out here being Hellboy. And there you go. And that could be a really cool show if you get the tone right.
Well, there was a movie that came out with I can't remember who's in it, but it was called the IRPD, I think.
Yeah.
Rest in
yeah.
Peace Department. And it got absolutely trounced. People seem to hate that movie, but there's a little bit of character and love in that movie if you go back and watch it.
I
And
actually have not seen that one.
I suggest you do. I know it got a lot of bad stuff, and it's not the greatest movie ever, but it's got some. It was made with love, and it has a heart. It has heart to it. I would suggest that if for fun, watch it. It's definitely a movie night movie, no matter what the critics say. However, the reason I bring that up is because from what Thunder just said, the spirit of that movie done with the BPRD and
Yeah.
Hellboy showing up every now and then, that would be
Yep.
badass.
Could be badass. Could be cool stuff.
So
That sounds
why
like
am
a
I
good
why am
idea.
I not running Hollywood, Chester? We could have such cool stuff.
we could.
No, not woke enough.
Yeah.
No,
Besides, I
I'm
think you're
sleepy.
you're protective of children, and that's just unacceptable.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
got it.
that too.
Yeah, I don't feed the children to Moloch enough.
No, well,
That's
you don't.
No.
We all have our failings.
yes.
The dude from Airwolf, Jan Michael Vincent, yeah, is the person you mean, Dave, was in the original Mechanic with Charles Bronson. Yes, he was. And if you want to talk about Jan Michael Vincent, there's a biopic about self destruction right there. Jesus, beautiful looking young man. He had good acting chops. He could have went anywhere, and he just couldn't stop drinking himself into literal holes. I mean,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, what a tragedy that is. Oh well. Anyway, uh,
Shame.
it was a shame. Let's move on. However, just once again, Red Sonja, everybody. Red Sonja.
God.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
Down syndrome Sonia. Yeah.
Speaking of Down syndrome.
Angelina Jolie calls moviegoers ignorant. They do not approve of homosexual marriage showcased in Eternals.
Okay, Adrian, I got a question for you. Out of all the reviews and all the people chatting about this new Eternals and how much it sucks balls, have you heard anyone talk about the gay thing at all? Adrian?
Not to the extent that they make it out.
I
I
haven't heard
haven't
anyone
heard
mention it at
hardly
all.
any.
I haven't even heard
Not
anybody say positive or negative about
I've
it. They
heard
just don't
positive.
yeah,
care.
exactly.
I've heard positive.
That's what I've heard.
Midnight's Edge guys had the guy, one of the Star Trek Next Generation writers on there, and they said it was actually done in a quite sweet manner. Owadi,
I
that
would
way.
just ask. I would just ask Angelina here. What about Chinese moviegoers? Are they ignorant, Angie? What do you? What?
I
Give
imagine
me
they
all your
must be.
deep opinions on the political situation with Taiwan.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just dumb because I mean, a lot of people talk about the Eternals. I have heard nobody talk about the gay couple thing at all. At all. Everyone's talking about the horrible
All
story writing, the horrible editing, how
It's
boring it
boring.
yeah,
is.
all
Yeah.
I've heard as far as that goes is that nobody cares.
Yeah.
Like,
So what are you on about? Uh,
That's the only reason they did it.
Super
They're
tits.
gonna pretend like it was they were trying to make some big political point, and it was about it's about time, that kind of shit that they
Uh-uh.
say. No. All of this, all of it, the race swapping, using that Asian lady as the director, and this gay stuff, all of it was so that they could deflect criticism from the fact that it was just terrible. All of it. Because they knew it was going to be just terrible. It's the same reason they propped up Captain Marvel, because she's a perfect shield. You can deflect all criticism with, oh, white men are sexist. They just don't like seeing women succeed.
Hmm.
Even though, she's just an insufferable twat that literally no one on the set got along with, from by all accounts. Even people who get along with everybody clearly didn't like her, clearly didn't like being around the lady. Um, that's all this is. It's a deflection. This is a shield. This whole thing is about being a shield because they know for a fact they can't get this stuff over in China. They can't get this stuff over in most of Asia, really.
Or the Middle East. Yeah.
Or the Middle East. Like, these markets are growing. They're burgeoning markets. They're not going to change very quickly or overnight. And they don't want to see this stuff. And the honest truth is, neither does the West. We're just not allowed to talk about it because we get called names. But straight people in this country, men, women, and children of all races, have unanimously said they're not interested in seeing this because
Yeah.
they put it in so much stuff and it always bombs, or pretty much always bombs, and yet they keep doing it because we're ignorant, according to her.
Obviously. And I wish someone would have told the poor Asian girl she spilled something on her shirt. She's a hottie though, dude. Damn.
Ain't bad.
No, and
She
she's
ain't
tall
bad.
too. I mean, because these are Hollywood actors, so they're all small. But man, I bet you she's up around 5'10", 5'11". I bet
Either
you.
that or she's wearing some serious heels.
Maybe, but it's hard to tell. It really is because there's so little people. What the hell you doing, you zombie alien?
Oh, she's so
Jesus.
skinny, it's gross, man. Eat some put a fucking burger in your mouth and eat it,
At
you
least she
dumb
put some
slut.
fake tits in though. That at least she did that.
Ugh,
That's good.
ugh.
That's good. What is this chin thing? What are you doing with the chin? What are you doing? You trying to start a? She's trying to start a fashion, Adrian.
Oh
She's
God.
trying.
Yeah, it's all fashion garbage.
To be fair though, I could see her doing some Egyptian queen thing though, or some
Yeah, she's
Egyptian
too
Yeah,
white.
royal. I could
They
see
won't
that.
let her. She's too
Huh?
white now. They won't let her.
Well, the sad thing is, because she's such a freakazoid. I mean, she's a true freakazoid. But her dad is so cool. I
Yeah.
mean, her dad is so badass, and he's a conservative who speaks out too on the public.
Yes. Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
John
John
Voight.
Voight. I'm
That
sorry, I
was
didn't say that.
shocking to me, actually, when I found out about him being so Republican, so conservative.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that, especially since the daughter he produced is such a fucking crazy bitch. So
She's doing what she's doing now, but keep in mind when she was a young hottie, because when she was really young, she was pretty for like a couple of years, and then the zombie came out. But do keep
yeah,
in mind, this girl was running around sleeping with anybody who would let her, wearing literal vials of blood around her neck. This is
yeah.
who Angelina Jolie is, right?
And was a absolutely, and I'm sure still is, absolutely horrendous horror show of a mother.
Oh yeah.
Um, I have no respect for Miss Jolie, Miss Voight, because that's her real name. Uh, she's just a trash fire of a human being, and it's a shame that I don't know if it's John's fault or whatever, but whoever raised this woman failed her miserably because she's just a terrible person. By all accounts, she's a terrible person. Like, that's
Yeah.
not just me talking shit because I disagree with her politics.
No, she's not good.
Literally everybody has said she's a terrible person.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you could see back when Brad was allowed to see his children, or his adopted children anyway,
yeah,
and the real ones. That like we've seen several airport shots and stuff, and she's always glamming for the camera, and he's got arms full of kids, and they're all latching onto his legs because they're scared of the lights. Right? He's every
yeah.
time you see it, Brad is always the one caring for the kids, and she's out there glamming for the camera every time. And let's be honest, who's the bigger movie star, her or Brad Pitt?
Oh, Brad Pitt, come on now.
Clearly. And he didn't
Not
give a
even
shit.
close.
Where was his focus? What did he care about? The kids. She's five
Now,
foot
Brad,
nine. Thank you,
Brad
Adrian.
seems like a totally down to earth guy. In all honesty, like he
Yeah,
seems like
he's
the
an
type of
enigma.
dude you could just go hang out and have some burgers with and just watch football with or something. He doesn't. He's really not a Hollywood guy. At least never that I've seen. Now, maybe there's stories out there of him being real Hollywood, but I've never run
Well,
across him. Then again, I don't research him.
He's got bad taste in pussy, though, dude.
He does. He does. That's
That
true.
first
But you know,
wackadoodle as well, he was with.
so many men do. So I can't really. It's kind of been our thing since the beginning of things. We're kind of bad at picking the best woman for ourselves.
Yeah,
So
well, not all of us. Thank you very much.
I think
But
I think
Adrian,
Brad is the type of guy that can mix in with anybody, probably.
yeah, no, I think he always seemed that way. He seems like kind of chill.
chameleon,
Yeah.
Adrian, you went and checked her. She's 5'9". This girl.
Yes.
tall girl. She's tall as
According
me.
to
5'9",
Wikipedia, she's
5'10".
tall.
She's 5'9". She has got heels on here, so she's probably sitting around 5'11" in this picture. But it shows
The
you how
giant.
short these guys are.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, those guys are short.
yeah. I mean, so she is a pretty tall Asian girl. You can find girls like this, tall girls like this, in North China. They do have a taller people in them. Most of the rest of Asia are pretty small, though. However, but she's a looker though. She's smoking, dude.
It's a shame a guy like Brad Pitt didn't go the Donald Trump route and just go find him some Eastern European hottie and move on with his life. Like somebody who's
Well, he's
not
got
like
time.
I would go even less, like, not even a model or anything. Just go over there. There's all kinds of beautiful women over there. Find one, get your hooks in her, and move on with your life because you'd probably be way further ahead than dealing with these Hollywood whores.
Well, Chris Pratt went and got himself a nice girl. It seems like
Yeah, from what I can tell,
nice
anyway.
Christian girl. Yeah. Good for him. And can you believe how crazy they went? I mean, we're talking. This is pure Hollywood conversation we got going on right here. But Chris Pratt went and got a new wife. He's got a new kid, and I guess it was an anniversary or something. And he put out just a tweet, kind of worldwide, to his wife, just kind of acknowledging and thanking her as a beautiful wife. She's so nice. Look how she's looking at me. I'm so guys try to get one like that. We're
Yeah.
happy together. She gave me a beautifully healthy young girl, yada 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 yada. All nice things, and they're bitching about it because one, why does she have to look at you like that? Oh, okay. And two, are you forgetting your son who has some mental problems, Brad or Chris?
Why?
Sorry, Chris. What are you
Why does
doing?
she have to look at you like that instead of the fact that she just does?
Yeah,
She
right.
loves him.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it's always comes from a place of envy. These people don't know what it's like to actually be loved or to
Yeah,
love. They're
it's sad.
incapable of it because they hate themselves. And Chris clearly doesn't hate himself, and he seems, again, don't know the guy personally, but from all accounts, a genuinely good dude.
Seems so.
Just a sweetheart of a man who has very few crosswords with people, to the point where I watched him one time. I saw this video of him like getting from an airport into like a car. They were taking him wherever, and people ran up to him and asked for an autograph, and he was giving people autographs and stuff, and he decided that was enough and got in the car, and somebody was a real prick about it. And he's like, listen, he rolled down the window. He's like, listen, buddy, we both know you're just going to sell that on eBay. Don't act like you're offended. Go have a nice day. That's all I said to him, and he just drove off. And I was like, see, that's just such a chill way to handle that, right? Like, a lot of guys will lose their cool when somebody's real shitty like that, and
Yeah.
he just didn't. He just told him off real politely and then went on about his day.
Yeah. But there are some good people in Hollywood, and there's a lot of people who are probably basically good people, but are trying to get work or stay employed, and basically just saying what they have to say, right? You get a
Yep.
lot of that. But anyway, we're going to move on from this. But Dave says, why are they taller in North China? Are the shells higher or something? Well, Dave, they're a different type of Asian completely.
Since we're
And
talking about Brad Pitt, I happened to look him up because I was seeing where he's from. Apparently, he's from Oklahoma.
uh
Uh,
Yeah, he's a Midwesterner.
his actual real first name is William, and I did not know that.
Yeah.
So he's actually a Bill. He's Bill Pitt from now on. That's what I'm calling him, Bill.
Okay. All righty. Well, let's
Bill
move
Pitt,
on. And from the train wreck that is the Eternals. Oh well.
and it
But
was. Oof.
Angelina. Oh,
Look at her hand. What the hell,
I
man?
know. She. I
What's
She's a
told
going
you
on?
she's a
skeleton.
zombie alien
That is
from the planet
creepy. That is
Zog.
not a human person's hand. What is that? That's
Talons.
not what human female hands look like. She's got talons.
Yep. Yep.
The lizard people are real. I knew
They
it. I
are.
knew
They
it.
are. They are. But whatever. I mean, it's just why Angelina, and no one is talking about it anyway, dude. I mean,
Well,
really.
that's why. You just answered your own question. That's why. They need it. They need that. They're trying to drum up buzz, and it's a nice little deflection.
Yep. Anyway,
We're,
this is a
we're
wonderful
talking about
story.
it now, so I guess some people are talking.
This is a wonderful
Marvel and
story.
High Guardian Spice writer Kate
Okay.
Leth refuses to apologize for Kill All Men's social media posts, blames critics for not understanding she was Tumblr pilled.
Okay,
What?
this is a beauty. Um,
No, it isn't.
Now this girl is involved with the High Guardian Spy. She did Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel. She's done it. Been given all kinds of opportunity, and she for a long time was kill all men, hate men, men suck, just super mega anti male, right? And of course, didn't hurt her career at all. She just kept getting opportunity after opportunity. And Of course, she just came out with the Guardian Spice, which sounds really, really bad. And she's catching a lot of flack from a lot of people from many different angles because of the horrible human she is. However,
Yep.
there's more depth to her horribility. That's a word. Yeah, that's a new.
Horribility.
I
I
said
like
it's
it.
a word, therefore it
I
is.
like it. I like it.
Uh, um, but look at some of this stuff. Her men are trash, and okay, we know she said all these stuff. We don't got to rehash that. But this down here is what's interesting to me. She says that her back tweets left took a Twitter on November 4th to reserve to her followers in a now deleted thread. Funny how people who spam my contact form with demands for accountability because I worked on a cartoon always use burner emails. Well, do they? Do they really? Because I've seen a bunch of stuff against you from people who don't have that. But people are giving her a hard time. And where's her thing? Um, where's her Twitter thing that she
You
says?
went past it. Go back up. Up one more. That one?
Okay. How dare you say kill all males? She continued mocking in the renewed criticism of her social media history. Well, hun, those tweets are 8 years old, and I was Tumblr pilled at the time. If you can't get that, I don't know what to tell you. Well, what? So we're supposed to know that something was wrong. You had some mental illness 8 years ago, and we're supposed to automatically know that and forgive you at the same time for it. What?
Well, my only question is this
Made
standard
up
of
that
hers
word.
apply to everyone? Or
It
is it
does.
something that she is reserving solely for herself? Because I'm sure I
Everyone
would.
but Nazis.
I'm just
Or what
guessing.
she would consider Nazis.
Just throwing a guess out there that Trump's little comment about grab him by the pussy
Hmm.
was enough to send her into fits.
Hmm.
Yet it was, a decade ago. So it only apparently applies to her.
Of
You see?
course, and
Yeah.
that's the irony here. The
Yeah.
funny thing about the grab by the pussy comment by Trump. People have been going batshit about that for what 5, 6 years now. However,
Yeah.
have we? It seemed to me that people seem to have missed the point that old Trumpy was trying to make. I do believe he was criticizing fangirls.
Yep.
Am I
Yep.
incorrect?
No,
Oh, he was.
you're not incorrect.
Yeah, no, he was
That's
saying that's not a good thing.
precisely what he was doing. He was saying that it's insane that there's these women out here who are just so easy, basically, that he can just walk up and grab them by the pussy and they just let you do it.
Yeah.
Is what he
See,
was saying.
that's a criticism.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's
I
not
like how
wrong.
they oh, of course he's not wrong. I loved how we were all supposed to pretend like that's not a thing for billionaire TV stars. We were all supposed to pretend right then that it's not a thing that wealthy men who are very famous can't just get pussy thrown. They get it thrown at them like we do water, right? They just have a faucet. They turn that thing on, and there it is. All the puss they could ever imagine. It's preposterous. Of course he can. I mean, he has enough money he could buy whorehouses. Like, it's ridiculous. Of course that happens. Everybody knows it. Everybody's pretty much okay with it. But because Trump said it and he was running as a Republican, you see, it had to be a problem.
Right. Right. They loved him. They loved him 6 months earlier, though.
Ah,
Oh, Dave has helped me out. He's taken the veil from my eyes. CUNT, can't understand normal thinking. Oh my God, it's an anagram.
So the interesting thing about this High Guardian space is the people that they were supposed to be making this for have rejected this show almost 100% as well.
Yeah, no, it's getting
Like,
horrible
it's so
reviews 'cause
bad
it's poorly done.
that
Yeah.
the anime, the quote unquote anime
right here.
crowd, the anime woke crowd that they were supposed to be making this for, they don't even like this show.
Yeah, well, it doesn't look good either. I mean, it's like fake Japanese is what it is. But
Well, they faked
another.
out. They faked them out. They made it sound like the funding for that was going to go to animators in Japan, and there's no animators in Japan a part
No,
of
and you
this
can
at
tell.
all.
You can look. This is done by Westerners. You can tell. Yeah. But another thing, Dave, just to let you know, another one of those CUNTs there is NEWS. Did you know that? News, noteworthy weather events and sport. No, weather, entertainment, and sports news. Did you guys
I
know
like
that?
it.
Yeah,
I like it.
that's real. It's like scuba, self-contained underwater breathing apparatus.
I just always thought news just because it was supposed to be new information.
No, noteworthy events, weather, entertainment, and sports.
Interesting.
Acronyms.
Yes, there's a lot of them like that. And Dave showed me a new one.
Interesting.
Can't understand normal things. Thank you. Okay. Anyway, dumb lady. You're dumb. You're dumb.
You're
You're
dumb.
stupid.
Really
You're
dumb.
stupid. You're not an Egyptian goddess. Stop it. Stop it. Sorry, I went Arnold there. I don't know what
See,
happened.
like, okay, she's not an attractive lady. I mean, no
No,
disrespect, but she's not. But look at her hand. At least she has human hands. What the hell is Angelina Jolie actually?
it's true.
Like,
Yeah.
what is she for real? Because I don't think she's a human being. Those hands were
I don't
not of
think
this
it. I
world.
don't think it. I don't think it's really Angelina Jolie. She got replaced a long time ago.
I do
She
believe
might
so.
have.
Yeah, she made that deal with the devil, and they just skin wearing her ever since. But no, she's not a pretty girl. But you know what? She doesn't have to be.
No.
It's
No,
not
but
necessary. You don't have to be pretty. It's okay. Most people aren't, dude. It's all
Correct.
right.
I would prefer her to be a good writer
That would
Yeah.
be
if she's going to
better.
be working on stuff like this.
And the
That would
worst
be
part
better.
is before she got infected with the mind virus, she probably was a pretty cool person to talk to. Just something about her tells me that she was interesting at one time in her life.
Yeah, when she was a
And the
kid.
mind virus ruined her.
Yeah.
Just ruined her.
Yeah. Well,
College?
no, earlier. College is the inception point,
Yeah.
These days, high school seems to be, though. They're doing their best to make it elementary
Depends
school,
the
though.
age.
They're working on it.
Oh yeah.
Most certainly. But okay, lady. Alrighty, fine. Moving on here. Tie-in, anybody?
Marvel's newest Amazing Spider-Man throws fists with Morbius.
Okay. Now, we talked about Morbius the other day. And I mentioned to you originally he was a villain and he was a Spider-Man villain before they made him something else. It's a cool character. I've always enjoyed Morbius. Like I said, I like the dark stuff. Morbius, Moon Knight, Werewolf at Night, Blade. I've always liked that kind of stuff. And some years back, when I was introduced in a way to the old classic horror, which you can find on the internet now, oh, I've been just eating that up. I love that stuff. The art was better
I
back then
agree.
in general as well. However, this
Some of
is a
that EC stuff is unbeatable.
it's crazy level of quality, dude. But anyway, this is a tie-in, fine, but it's a tie-in in a weird way because okay, we got the Amazing Spider-Man, alrighty, Ben Riley. It's not Peter. Peter's in a coma, I guess. But they some corporation has put Ben Riley in as the Spider-Man. Hold on a second. Ben Riley, I believe I remember reading it. It was plotted that he was a clone of Spider-Man sent to kill him back in the 70s when I was a little kid, and he died at the end of that episode. And then they brought him back later on, and what was that? Superior Spider-Man or
Uh,
some other thing like Blood
Something
Spider-Man
like
or
that.
Crimson Spider-Man or Crimson Spider. What was it?
Crimson Spider, was it?
Yeah, yeah, something like that. So they
Something like
brought this character, which was dead, back, but now he is Spider-Man. He is the Amazing Spider-Man, Peter Parker. He's a clone of Peter, so he looks just like him. What? Why? Someone help me.
Someone at
Well,
Marvel at some point decided that they hate Peter Parker, and they refused to give us Peter Parker as he was. Like, ever since, what was it, about 15 years ago now, they dramatically changed him.
Yeah,
And
Scarlet Spider. Thank you, Eric.
Scarlet Spider, yeah. The cynic in me wants to say that the only reason that he was ever changed was so they could help get Miles Morales over.
Yeah,
Uh, that failed because Miles is still boring. He sells okay, but
he's
he's not Peter.
boring though. He's not
Yeah,
interesting for some reason. I don't know why. But
it's
Ben
because
was
they write him with no. The way they write him is uninteresting. He has very few flaws, and the flaws that he has are too routinely justified,
yeah.
and it makes him boring. He's just not. There's no interpersonal internal conflict with him, so it's boring to watch. One of the reasons why Peter was so beloved and is so beloved is because he struggles. He
and he
struggles a lot.
and he's quippy, and he doesn't take
Well,
their
that
shit.
yes,
Do
but he
you
also
think that some
struggles
of
with
this?
his own, like, internally. He has
Yeah,
internal struggles with his own emotions, and Spider-Man no more. He wants to quit being. He doesn't really like being Spider-Man most of the time. Stuff like that. And Miles just I don't know, he just doesn't come off like he has any of that going on. He loves being Spider-Man. He wants to be Spider-Man. He doesn't like the fact that people think of him as not Spider-Man, as, Black Spider-Man or whatever the nonsense is he said. Uh
well, he's mulatto. He's not black, but anyway,
yeah.
go ahead,
It's just
Adrian.
it's silliness. Go ahead, Adrian.
I was going to say, do you think that some of these choices have to do with stuff going on behind the scenes as far as like lawsuits and problems with family members of the people that created some of these characters?
Maybe.
So they have to get rid of those characters for the time being while they're going through this stuff and they
Yeah,
replace them. I
certainly
know
possible.
Scarlet Spider, Ben Riley, that character was created by Jerry Conway, if I remember correctly.
Scarlet
I don't know.
Spider is a pretty cool name, actually. I
It
I
is
don't hate
cool.
that name.
Yeah, I don't mind him
Uh
being the Scarlet Spider, but why is he the Amazing Spider-Man? Peter
yeah, why
Parker.
didn't they just have him be Scarlet Spider?
Yeah.
Like,
Because the
while
Amazing
Peter's out.
Spider-Man as a title will sell more than the Scarlet Spider will as
Well,
Right.
a
yeah, but
title.
they could
And
just call it that and then
here
just have it
here's
be about him.
Here's the
I
little
know
intro
that.
blurb they got. After a disastrous battle, Peter Parker slipped into a coma. Luckily for New York, Ben Riley took on the mantle of Spider-Man with the support of the Beyond Corporation. Thanks to Beyond's head of superhero development, Maxine Danger, Ben has access
Yeah.
to all the things your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man could only dream of. A swanky apartment he shares with his girlfriend, Janine. I'm sure she's not a white girl. An upgraded Spidey suit, a handler named Marcus. He's got a handler, nice, and a one-on-two training with Misty Knight and Colleen Wing. Dude, Why do you have a girlfriend? But when Spidey's old foe Morbius went on a sudden rampage, Ben's gadgets and training weren't enough, and he was bitten by the living vampire. And that is cool about Morbius. He is on the same strength level as Spider-Man. Keep in mind, he was a Spider-Man foe in the beginning. So Morbius is very powerful because a lot of things people forget about Spider-Man, and I think I don't know what's the way they present him. You forget how strong he is. I mean,
Yeah,
Spider-Man can pick up a car and smash you with it. He's
yeah,
Yeah.
very powerful, right?
Somewhere along the lines, the writers have forgotten this stuff as well.
It's weird, right? Because he is ridiculously powerful. So
Yeah, they've
well, it's
weakened the crap out of him in recent years.
one of the things in Civil War, the movie, uh, Captain America: Civil War, that I loved was how strong and how powerful Spider-Man felt when he showed up. Like he made a difference. He was taking on multiple people at once and having very little difficulty with it. Like that was good. Spider-Man is strong. He is powerful.
he is, yeah.
He's not
Not the
weak.
same Spider-Man we get later, though.
No,
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 no, you're
definitely
right,
not.
and it's weird, Adrian, because in the fight scenes, like in the movies, there should be scenes where Spider-Man is throwing someone through a car. I mean, he hits the car so hard he rips through it or something. They they
Yeah,
they should give us the impact of his strength, and they don't.
No.
They just focus on his agility, right?
right.
Yeah.
No, it's silliness. There's no good reason not to. I'm sure they have some reason why, but it's dumb. I I don't understand why in the modern movies, with Tom Holland, even though his very first time he showed up, he clearly had spider sense. Like he uses it in Civil War. But then in his in the next movie, he just doesn't have that
And
anymore.
it's his
That's just
premier power.
yeah, it's his most powerful ability. He just he doesn't have that. And then they just bring it back later, like because the fans were kind of annoyed he didn't have it. So, like don't get me started on that on it. Just don't even get me started on the mess that is Tom Holland's Spider Man.
I have a
Well,
very
outside of the movies, right? The comics, Spider-Man has some of the best fights there are.
Oh
I
yeah.
remember.
Well, Spider Sense is going off here, for sure. But someone needs to help me. Why is Morbius wearing Converse sneakers?
And why does he look like
Oh my gosh.
I don't even know what to describe him as? He doesn't look like a Morbius to me.
No.
He looks more
Is
creature-ish
Kelly
in the
Thompson is the writer? Oh god.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure it's horrible, which is why I don't know that this is the second time Ben Riley has been the Amazing Spider-Man. Thank you very much, Grimlock. You can come in here and talk, Grimlock, if you'd like. But I gave up on I gave up on Spider-Man a long time ago. But now this looks like Morbius. This is better.
Yeah, that's better.
It's better.
That one right
Why
there
does
too.
he have
That's a lot
wings? Why
better.
does he have? Well, hold on a second. Why does he have wings? What's going on? Now he doesn't have. No, he does have wings. Now doesn't have wings. Now he does have wings. Who is this artist?
Sarah Pichelli, who is a pretty good artist, but
Yeah,
I
but
don't think she works well with Marvel stuff.
we'll take a look here. No wings.
No, I'm
Yes,
seeing
wings.
it. Yeah.
No wings. Yes, wings.
Is he
No. Oh,
retracting
there's some
those?
wings. Huh.
Is he retracting those in these scenes? Is that what that's supposed to be
I
going on?
think she just forgot to draw him, dude,
I
because
think she forgot to throw the
Morbius
wings.
doesn't have wings.
Yeah. She
So,
rushed that.
so
It's
he's
a
gonna
rush
be
move.
a vampire Spider-Man. Is that what's happening here?
It looks
Because he
like
got
it.
bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And okay, there's the wings. So she just forgot to put him in a panel. So basically, Morbius just straight up flies now. All right. Well, that's different.
Isn't he a glide? Doesn't he
He is a
glide?
glider. You are correct, sir. Yes. Oh, well, maybe this is the son of Morbius or Morbius 2.0, or maybe this is transgender Morbius. That's what it is. I found it.
Shit.
All vampires have wings. Don't you know, Chester? Thanks, Jeff.
Like I'm okay with Morbius evolving wings. I think that could be cool.
Yeah, as long as they
As
explain
as
it, I suppose. I
he
just don't know.
grows more into his power, but I don't I don't know, man. I do kind of like the idea of a vampire Spider-Man just because it makes sense for a Spider-Man to drink blood because he's a Spider-Man and that's what
Yeah.
spiders do. Um, but I don't know. I don't trust anything from modern Marvel. So
If I
especially
walk
not something
by,
that could be
Pages I'm
something that could
seeing
be
here look
nuanced.
like a total rush job.
they
Like
Yeah.
do, they
I've
do.
seen
Yeah,
Sarah Pacelli's work. She worked on that book Saga for years,
yeah, that's good art
and
in that
that
book.
it's a
That
woke
thing went
book,
crazy
but
though.
yeah,
It didn't start
the
like that
art was
though.
good.
It went woke crazy, dude.
No, it
Yeah.
went completely nuts.
Yeah, it did. It's unfortunate I stopped reading it. But I'm telling you, if I walk
Mm.
by and saw this on the shelf with Morbius wearing Converse sneakers, I would not buy this comic book.
I'm
Yeah.
not really sure what the Converse are about, especially since the inside of the book he's
Morbius.
not
Yeah.
doing that. So I don't know why this outfit exists and why they decided it needed to be on the cover.
Okay.
In
All right.
fact, I would have done this completely differently. You wouldn't even see him. You just see his shadow up
Yeah.
there,
Yeah,
right behind
yeah,
Spider-Man.
that would be the better route to go.
It would be. But they also, why are his sleeves tattered? I mean, this person who did the cover doesn't know who Morbius is. That's it. That's
No.
just it. Yeah, they just don't know. But all right. Anyway, moving on. But it is a tie-in. Fair enough. More Morbius could be good, but I don't know. I don't know. Moving on. Ooh.
Marvel's next major Avengers epic teases a very, very different Thor. Oh, jeez.
Okay.
Jeez.
Now, hold on a second now. Okay, this is not a what if. Let me just establish that in the beginning. This is not what if. I like what if comic books. They're interesting, but they're set in that little frame, right? What if something, right? This is not what if. And we were just talking earlier in the show about we wish things would go back to the insular world of that character, right?
Yeah.
Instead of everything being crossover. Well, now Marvel is nothing but crossover events. That's all they do now. There are no insular things. It's all crossover. And this is yet another crossover in a world where Ghost Rider is the only supernatural thing on a devastated planet. There were never heroes before, and all of a sudden things are showing up because someone found the hammer, and who's going to pick it up? So, all right, so this is an Elseworld or a what if story, but it's not a what if story. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. And of course, who's going to be the one to carry the hammer? Whose silhouette do you think that is, Adrian? Any idea?
Ooh. Is he here?
Can't tell right now off the top of my head.
Okay, who does he look like? He's had drinking problems before. He's a great inventor, quite smart.
No, it's not.
It is.
Yeah.
It's Tony Stark. However, it's not Tony
Uh,
Stark Iron Man. It's Tony Stark Ant-Man. And he is not a great scientist. He is an archaeologist. Now,
what?
What?
in Avengers Forever, number one. So this is clearly a what if story. Why is it not under the
Jason
what
Aaron.
if branding?
Is Jason Aaron writing this?
Let's see. Marvel's up possible with Thor. Ghost Rider, Earth, yeah. Spirit of Vengeance, Ant Man, yes. The Invincible Ant Man, Ant Man, great. Forever, Hank Pym or Scott Lang weren't worthy. Okay, yada yada yada. Let's see. I don't see here. They just talk about the story. Uh, has shown that what if so, and they agree in this article, right? And this is this is CBR, right? So even they agree it should be a what if. I don't see who's writing it offhand though. Do you guys see it?
Scroll down, it might
No.
say it on the cover.
Oh, in the cover, yeah. No.
Nope. Or not.
What?
Crap.
They don't want you to know.
Oh, here we go. Jason Aaron.
Yeah. See, I called it.
Bang on,
I
Adrian. Good
knew it.
job.
I, it's, it
Jason
sounded
Aaron,
like
please,
some
for the love of God, somebody get
stupidity
him
he
away
would
from
come up
Thor.
with.
Somebody get him away from Thor and never let him even say the word Thor
He
ever
hates
again.
Thor. He
The
hates Thor.
saddest thing is, he actually wrote one of the best Thor stories out of this century. But
Yeah, and then he wrote all the worst ones.
and then
So
he wrote all the worst ones. Correct.
All right. So, oh yeah, and this is another article where the venom symbiote is going into all kind of other creatures now. It's beyond human now. It's just the venom in a plague is part of this as well. But he's Ant-Man now. He's not Iron Man in this else world, which I don't mind what if stories. I really don't. But why is it not being tagged as what if? And also in this story, by the way, where he finds Mjolnir, which is not Mjolnir, that is not Mjolnir, okay?
Mhm.
And he's able to pick it up because he's worthy. But also the Sharon Cotter thing they did in the What If story, where she's Captain America, she's going to be in this too.
Yeah.
So
Ugh.
it's
It's
not What
clearly a what
If.
if
It's
timeline.
but it should be a what if. But what they're doing is this is a different timeline, different parallel Earth, obviously. But they're going to
Obviously.
bring these one of these characters over, and I guarantee you it's going to be Sharon Carter. That's who's going to come over. I can bet you the whole point of it is just to bring her into the 616 or 619. Which is it? No,
Correct.
616.
616.
Who was the? There was another line of Forever, right? Was that the X-Men Forever?
I maybe
Or
it's their new thing. It's their new super event because that's all they do is super events, right? That's all they're capable of doing
Wait,
now.
is that him right there?
Yes,
Is that him
I
as Iron
guess.
Man now,
But don't
or is
these
he?
covers don't match shit, dude. You know they don't.
yeah,
Not
no, they
anymore.
don't.
Well, what my question is look at that. That's a full on mall.
That's a mall. Yeah, that's what that is.
Yeah.
Good on you. Claps for Thundero.
Oh, I know what a
Claps.
mall is.
A little bit of historical knowledge. Damn.
I mean, it's way too big to be a mall because well, he could with that suit, but no normal human could actually utilize something that thick. But
You give me a wind up
yeah,
on it.
yeah, that's interesting because in the the story of Mjolnir, it's supposed to be a big warhammer, and Loki does some fuck shit and messes up the construction of it. That's why it's
Right.
got a short
With
little
a
handle.
fly biting the eye of the smith.
Yeah,
Yeah, the dwarven smith. And
and so maybe that's what we're getting there, which I don't hate the idea of. It's just I don't know, man.
yeah, these
I
covers are
personally
unrelated. I mean, we
I
see
don't
the
like what
interior here, right?
ifs. I know I'm weird, but I just don't get the appeal of a
Here's
what if
Mjolnir.
story. I guess you could do it well. It's eh, just
I like what if stories, but tell me, like, say it's a what if. Don't act like
Please,
it's like
put it under that
modern
category.
canon.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Not that they have modern canon, anyways, but
That
whatever.
is a problem, right? And how you twist him into being Ant-Man, I don't know. But whatever. Although Wonder Man is looking different on this cover.
Wonder Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. But whatever. It is a what if story. They just haven't titled it that way. But I put it in here more to kind of tie in with the earlier stuff in the fact that everything is event driven now. They
Yeah, yeah.
really
I,
need to get back to insular stories.
And they will
yeah.
never. I'm just gonna burst their bubble and Mr. Aaron's bubble. They will never get Thor as good as he was after Ragnarok. That was the best they've ever done with the character of Thor, all the way up until he was the old man Rune King Thor, fighting Galactus and
You talk about
stuff.
the God Killer story?
No, 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 no. After Ragnarok,
Walt
he is
Simonson, when Walt Simonson
yeah,
was doing Thor, was the
yes,
best Thor.
Oh, you're talking
he
way
is
back.
yeah. He has the Odin Force, which becomes the Thor Force, and he is he's the All Father, and he's called the Rune King. They go into all the deep lore and all this stuff, and he's just so awesome by the end of that story. It's such a great story. If you've never read Thor Ragnarok, read it. It's really good. It genuinely is really good.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
the God Butcher stuff is really good too, but I think
It leads to everything that goes down.
it leads to all of this, but also the reason why it's so good is because the God Butcher's really cool. Whereas in the Ragnarok storyline, Thor is really cool, and there's a different dynamic there.
Right.
And I think they've never since Ragnarok and everything that came after it, they have just not got Thor right in 2 decades, because that came out 20 years ago, over 20 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a long time since they've really actually got to it.
Even the movies didn't get him right. Like
No,
they just
no, they're not
the
good.
closest one was Infinity War, and other than that, it was either boring or it just wasn't right. It was off.
Yeah.
Like the first one was off, the second one was a travesty, and Ragnarok, the movie,
I didn't
it's all
like
over
that at
the
all.
place.
I hated that. That's
All
my
over the
least
place.
favorite Thor movie that they put out. However, the God Butcher thing I think is a good example of this conversation though, because it was beautifully drawn.
Yeah,
It was very well written, and I didn't like it.
yeah, yeah. A
Anyway,
lot of people didn't, especially a lot of Thor fans didn't like it at all.
yeah,
Um, I thought it was pretty good. It was an
I liked it.
interesting take. I went back and read it long after it came out. But compared to what came before it, Ragnarok, Simonson, all that stuff, it just doesn't compete. Like old Thor, and by old, I guess I have to call it old now, late 90s Thor was the best run he ever had. Ever. And I've read pretty much all of it. I
Yeah.
would say that was the best one they ever had. That late 90s run that led into Ragnarok was just mwah,
Well,
chef's kiss.
I haven't read that. I should go back and read it because I wasn't
You
buying
should.
comics at that time. But to be fair though, late '70s, early '80s Thor, I read those comics all the time and enjoyed them.
They were good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's my point. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because they keep trying to reinvent the wheel with Thor instead of just going back to fucking Thor. Just let him be Thor. Stop making him into some idiot. Stop making him into some
honestly,
joke or a woman or Ant-Man, apparently. Just let him be Thor and just run with it. I guess they had a recent one that they did. I didn't read it, but they had a recent one that was pretty decent, at least most of it from what I understand. But I don't know. I just don't get why they have to keep tinkering with these heroes. Either just
Um,
don't do them at all, or do them the way they should be done and move on with your
Simonson's
life.
Thor was in the 80s. It was like 1983 to
Yeah.
oh well,
87 or
then I
something.
read that.
Yeah, Simonson,
Yeah,
and then
it's
who
a
was
good.
it in the late 90s? I can't remember, but he also killed it. Oh, man. Dan Jurgens.
Jurgen.
Jurgens' Thor was
Yeah, I think so.
fantastic. This is one of the few times where I actually know the artists because it was so good and I read all of it.
I think we almost missed something. I'm glad we didn't. Let's take a look at this alt cover they have here. All right, so we got Fire Lord, we got Hyperion here, we got Iron Man, I guess, Storm, Thor. Some very classic characters. But the more we
Yeah.
go down, the more it becomes less classic. We got Hercules there. We got this some weird Captain America, I guess, Scarlet Witch, Colossus. They're mixing up these things quite a bit. Look as we get down here, Titania. What are some of these characters I'm looking at here? Female Captain America,
I don't know
a
what that
very
devil thing is.
bulky Nova. Is that Doctor Strange? Is that their new Doctor Strange? Who is this Green Archer here? Who is this? Is that a version of Thor? What is that? Is this Sentry?
That's
It's not
Thor.
Sentry. Is it Thor?
Thor. That's a version of Thor.
Well, there's
Yeah,
Thor
that's
right there
definitely
in the
Thor.
back.
Yep. There's two Thors
Yeah,
for some reason.
There's a couple Captain Americas. What is this going on
I
in this
don't
cover,
know.
dude?
I don't know what Jason's doing. They've given him too much power, I think.
I
Mr.
mean,
Aaron has too much
it's
power.
it's Moondragon right
I
there.
think
They
that's
got it.
just the artist that wanted to draw a bunch of characters. That's all that
Yeah, but
is.
it's a mix of old and something weird. We got
Yeah,
Paladin
yeah.
sitting right over here, although he's got a thing, or is that Prowler? No, I guess it's Paladin, but he's using a stick instead of a gun, his stun gun. I don't know. They've got several Iron Men in here. What the hell's going on in this picture, guys?
I don't know. I genuinely have no answer for you. It is very strange
It's a
because it's a
very old
mishmash.
version of Beast, even.
Yep.
Yeah,
A
it is right.
mishmash of timelines and characters. And like even that Iron Man suit is an old design.
It is. You got
Uh
Valkyrie right here. We got Sasquatch, or no, yeah, that's Sasquatch, not Wendigo.
who's the statue Captain America? Who's that? Guy right there in the middle.
The one with the cut in his head. He's some weird post-apocalyptic. Are they doing time jumping stuff again? God, these
Looks like
people,
it.
dude. That's what they're doing.
Looks
Probably
like it.
multiverse stuff
I
is
will
Yeah.
what
say
they're
this:
doing.
that in my opinion is Storm's best outfit. So there's that.
Ash on Comics said Avengers Forever is a multiverse crossover.
Thank you,
Ugh.
Ash.
Yep.
Ugh.
How
It's
many
I,
times can they
I
do that?
actually have become sick of multiverse stuff. It's just
Yeah,
it's a crutch at this point. It's lazy writing because then
yeah.
then there's just no rules, right? It's multiversal. You can do whatever you want, and that to me just is less and less appealing as I get older. I
yeah.
want a nice structure story where there's rules that are followed, and if they are broken, it's explained why they're broken and how. Like just basic storytelling in this multiversal, big, chaotic, super crossover events.
Yeah, you're probably
Eh,
right, Ash. Yeah, no, and why you keep wanting to make Captain America a female, dude? Look at all the women in the picture. Look at them all.
Yep,
Why do we
yep.
need a female Captain America? You
Including the
jackasses.
one who's way in the back up there at the top, who's the best female character they never ever use.
Storm, yeah, she's awesome.
Storm.
You got another
Yeah.
Captain America here wielding a sword. What the hell is that? And is this right here the one with the black top in that letter we can't see? Is that an atomically scrunched, a non-atomically scrunched puck? Is that what I'm looking at? Is
Oh,
that
you know,
puck?
that might be.
It
But
could
he's
be.
not, he hadn't been shrunk by the demon inside him.
It does look like Puck.
Huh. I bet you it is, dude.
This is a strange thing they're doing here. It's a strange. Who is the guy? Who's the devil looking guy? What's
I
that?
think
What's
it's
that?
Doctor Strange, dude.
No. That's Daredevil, like with Mephisto or something. There's like a.
Looks like an M on the chest. That's true.
It.
Is this
I
down
don't
here
know,
in
man.
the left-hand corner? Is this another paladin?
Could be.
Maybe. I've seen that devil-looking character before, but I can't remember where.
Yeah, no, Ash,
All I know.
you're right. The multiverse is going to be the way they can give us intersectional versions of every hero. They've been doing that already. This isn't new. This is just another multiverse
Oh yeah.
event. Yeah, no, it's true.
This all started. This all started with the freaking Hickman Secret War stuff, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
it did. You're
taken
right.
over everything.
Yeah.
I actually liked Secret War, a lot of it, but geez.
But it's like you're getting too bizarre and too out there. Bring these characters back into their own thing. Go back to having annuals or teams. That's how you do crossovers with teams, right?
Yeah.
Some big
Yeah.
thread. We have a team book going on this year. Avengers. This is the cast of the Avengers this year. They're all working towards something, and then leave everything else alone. But
See,
they
if
I'm
there
not
was
like I'm
professionals
not a big
actually.
fan of reboots, right?
Me neither.
But when uh when they rebooted like the Superman universe back in the 80s, who was it that did that? I'm trying to remember his name.
I don't remember who did it, but I know what you're talking
You
about.
talk about DC's
Yeah, when they
Crisis
killed
on multiple Earths.
Infinite Earths.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when they
Infinite
killed
Earths. Yeah.
when they killed Supergirl and
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
it
yeah,
brought
yeah.
like
That one. Yeah.
yeah, Burn did it, right?
Yep.
That was the way to
Mhm.
kind of do that kind of thing. Like to just start fresh all over again from the beginning and bring all those lore and stuff back into it slowly. Both of these companies need a reboot like that, not a reboot where they remake it and modernize it and stuff like that.
This is all identity
Because
politics, dude. They don't give a shit.
it is, I know. Because the real problem is, like, you can't get new readers. You can't even get old readers to understand half of this stuff anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah,
make
look how
sense.
confused we are trying to
No,
figure out this
none of it
cover.
makes sense.
Yeah.
That
Well,
is a
that's
normal
a big
vision. I don't
problem.
see trans vision, Jeff. That's a normal vision. But who the hell is this
That's a
Green
big.
Archer?
I don't know. That's a big
Yeah,
problem
I don't know.
with Marvel and DC. These companies aren't being run by professionals because if you had somebody with an actual vision that was in charge of, you know, books and the events and laid out a nice schedule for like 5 years of what books we're going to work on, what we're going to put out, and leading into a big event every 5 years. Make that the new standard. Every 5 years, there's going to be a big, huge crossover Universal event, and just build towards it every time. You would get a lot further. But because they're always constantly chasing the event dollar because they can't get the regular books to sell because they put a bunch of bullshit in them, we'll never actually have anything that structured. Whereas if you added structure like that, if you had a company who had the foresight to do that, you could get such cool shit. Like, oh man, if they could actually get
It
some
does.
professional structuring, professional editing into this, properly done, and set these arcs up properly, like they did for the MCU. Give it all credit to them when they did
Yeah, no,
that.
they did. They did a good job. Yeah.
If they could do that in the books, they could drive people to read them because I think
That was
people
the
could get
big.
invested. Right
That
now,
was
you
one of the
can't
big
get invested.
mistakes. That was one of the big mistakes when they made the movies, right? They had an entire chance to do something like what you're saying to get a new audience in on these books. Because look, I know there was people that didn't read comics that after went and saw those movies, they were interested in reading comics, and
Yep.
they would come to me and ask me what to pick up, and I'm like, honestly, none of it's like the movies, so I don't know.
Go back to the 70s and 80s. That's what you're looking for.
That's what they need. Yeah.
No.
If they would have restarted everything the correct way instead of the crap that they came out with at that time, which didn't match any of the films, uh, they probably would have made a lot more money and
Yeah.
had a
They
whole
could go
new
so much
audience.
further with structure, with
Well,
actual proper structure.
you know something else I'm noticing in this picture? There's a lot of characters that were villains that became heroes.
Yep.
You
Correct.
noticing that? Fire Lord here, he's a herald, right? Hyperion was a bad guy, still kind of is. You got Scarlet Witch, of course, has done abominable things. Hercules has done bad stuff. Puck certainly has done bad things. Wonder Man, absolutely. Black Knight, he's troublesome. Um, yeah, it's weird, dude. Paladin, of course, is a reformed criminal. Um, I don't. What are they doing? This is a weird ass cover, dude.
It is. It's very odd. I don't like it. I'll be honest with you. I don't like anything about it. I don't like most of the character designs. I don't like the fact that there's multiple of some of the characters. I don't like how there's seems to be no rhyme nor reason to who is in. It just like it almost seems like Jason was like, "All right, I want to let's find some characters. Let's just find some. We'll throw them in." Like they just like they're making a smoothie. Ah, throw it in.
Well, see,
It
I'm not.
Pretty
just
much.
yeah.
I'm not mad about having Paladin in there, or is that Prowler? I'm not sure which that's supposed to be. I don't mind the Black Knight. It's kind of cool, Wonder Man. But it's a weird amalgam. And of course, this female Captain America just bite me, dude. Um, here on this cover, which probably the main cover, you got U.S. Agent. That's not Captain America. I mean, it's
Yep.
Steve Rogers, but it's not. I think it's Steve Rogers. You got Miles Morales. You got Silk, who was completely discontinued. Why is she back? You have a very weird suited Wasp. Scarlet Witch. I don't know. She's awful busty. I didn't think they
Yeah,
allowed that
let's say
anymore.
Scarlet Witch with boobs. Where'd that
Yeah.
happen?
That wasp is like old school golden age looking
What's
one.
that in the
Yeah.
back? Is that Hulk? Is that supposed to be a Hulk?
Yeah,
That's
that's
Red
the Red
Hulk, though,
Hulk.
isn't it?
Yeah, that's Red Hulk.
Yeah, he's got the electricity popping around him, right?
Yeah.
You got Wonder Man looking like Namor. Huh.
Yeah, he does look like Namor. It's weird.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Okay.
I don't know
All
what's
right.
going
I'm
on
going to
here.
move on because I'll look at this all day. But these people, and who's the asshole again? Jason Aaron and Aaron Kuder. What does AC mean?
Aaron Cooter.
No. What does A
AC.
slash C mean? W means writer. Artist slash cover.
Artistic colors, maybe?
Colors.
Artist colors, I think,
Yeah.
maybe.
Variant cover by Mateo
Cooter's. Yeah, that's Matteo Scalera. I can tell you who that artist was
Betsicola.
that did the red cover.
Okay,
Because I actually
Betsicola
Betsicola.
love
did this
Matteo's
one.
art.
Betsy Cola sounds like an actual cola. That's a
Yeah.
good name
I
for a
don't know who
cola. Somebody
Betsy
should make
Cola
one.
is. Aaron Cooter's a pretty good artist, actually. Matteo Scalera is one of my favorite artists out there right now. But
Huh.
$5 for 40 pages. Whew.
Yeah.
God, comics are insanely expensive
jeez,
I
now.
don't mind the art. If you look at the interiors, it looks fine. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
the
nothing
art's
wrong with
good.
it.
It's
Yeah.
not bad at all. That's good right there. It's a nice action shot. It's slick. It looks,
Looks
it looks
good.
like Marvel. Looks
Yeah.
like it looks professional. It's Marvel grade. Uh, the art's not the issue. It's just it's like they went into a room with a dartboard and just started throwing things at it, and that's who we're picking, and that's kind of where we're at
probably
here.
correct. That's probably about how they did pick too.
Yeah.
Another villain turned kind of hero with Namor. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on. Now, this is connecting into everything I've talked about today with the horror stuff. Go ahead.
Marvel casts Gail Garcia Bernal as Werewolf by Night.
Okay. Now, Werewolf by Night is a character you can have just like a Ghost Rider and other characters. You can have different people take up the mantle of the character because it's an infection, right? So it's okay to have a different guy, in this case, a Latino fellow, playing Werewolf by Night. Fair enough. This is a one shot Halloween
Interesting.
special for next year on Disney Plus. This is not a series. It's not a movie. I guess it's a movie, but it's for Disney Plus Halloween next year. Werewolf by Night. I can't say I'm upset about it. I'd love to
I
have
like
it.
the aspect of it.
Yeah.
Wasn't the original werewolf story related to Spain too? Anyways, like
Oh, I don't remember. Maybe I don't care about that
I
anyway.
believe you're correct. Yes, the original
This
like
is a
big pop
new
culture one.
guy though. But maybe it was. But I read those forever ago, dude. But I love the idea of it. It's part of the supernatural side of Marvel, and it has been rumored the first appear in the upcoming Moon Knight. So we got a Moon Knight Disney Plus series coming, and we're going to be introduced to Werewolf by Night, and then he'll get his own little one-shot movie, I guess, Disney Plus next year. The 42-year-old Gale is best known for Bad Education, Mozart in the Jungle. I don't know any of this shit. But that doesn't mean it's not good. In the comics, the Jake Gomez version that debuted last year is described as. So we have a new comic with Werewolf by Night. Didn't even know that. The Hour of the Wolf, a new Werewolf by Night, is prowling the Southwest, but all is not as it seems. A young man, a family curse, so maybe it's a legacy character, and an unholy experiment prove a dangerous combination for a small town in Arizona. The character, the zombie, zombie comic book title, the zombie has that Egyptian
zombie.
medallion around his chest. Is that DC or
Yeah,
Marvel?
Marvel, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna bring that in as well.
That'd be pretty cool.
It would be cool. So I don't know. It could be neat, and I hope we're hoping the Moon Knight doesn't suck. Having going more this dark horror super. They're calling it supernatural side of Marvel. I want more of it, dude. I just hope that I hope the Morbius ties in. I don't think it will, but I would be cool if it did do a crossover with that. But I just hope they just make movies, just straight up stories.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah,
need any identity politics. Just stories.
be the best way to do it. Yeah, especially with like the dark horror kind of side of things,
Yeah.
supernatural side of
They should
things.
they should call it like Marvel Bump in the Night or something like that, and just have it be all these characters who are in that vein
Hmm.
are in that branch of it, and just run with it.
Will
Just
say,
do some cool stuff.
I will say, you mentioned it being in Arizona in the Southwest, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be like some illegal alien story, probably.
Oh, probably,
Probably.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right. But it seems like they're doing a legacy thing. But you're right, they might. But you got to keep in mind too. We're also getting a reboot. Well, just a character shift with Blade, and the dude who's doing it is the one who played Cotton in the Luke Cage, right?
Yeah, Cottonmouth.
I can't
Yeah, and
remember his name. He's got a weird African name.
he's
But
in
he was badass, dude.
Yeah,
yeah,
that
he's
that was
in
that's a good pick.
Yeah.
he's in that oh, what the hell's the name of that movie with the girl with the weird eyes? My brain just lost it. The
Uh,
anime crossover. They made into a movie.
are you
They
talking
made a
about
live action.
Alita Battle Angel?
Yeah, Lidl. He's in that. And there's
Oh
a
yeah, yeah, he
scene
is
where
Alita.
he's sitting in a limousine and he's in a suit with the glasses, look like Blade's glasses, and he's looking through the out from inside the limo, and the lighting in there. And the first thing I said to my wife was, "He looks exactly like Blade."
Yeah, no, it's a good
Exactly.
choice. It's a good choice. And Wesley's
Yeah.
too
He was a
old
good
anyway.
casting for that
Yeah,
movie
I hope
as
it's
well.
cool. Hold on,
The
you
only
guys
problem with
keep
him is
talking. I'll
he's
be back in a
slim.
minute.
And the only problem with him is he's a little slim, but they can hopefully he bulks up a bit or gets himself in really
Maybe
good shape.
bulk him up. Yeah.
Yeah, or they could just put him in clothes that makes him look bulkier.
Yeah.
But no, he's got a great voice. He was the best part of the Luke Cage show. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, the minute he dies, it's over.
I was
The
done.
show
I was like,
goes downhill.
not interested now.
Same.
Thank you. And yeah, that was a shame. But I really like this idea of Marvel leaning more into the horror, the supernatural.
Oh yeah.
They could do some really cool stuff because Werewolf by Night is a great example. They could do some werewolf stuff. They have all kinds of vampire stuff with Morbius. I like the idea of Moon Knight being a champion of the night, meaning he fights creatures of the night.
Oh yeah.
Blade already kind of is that in a way. He fights the vampires. So they could do some really cool stuff with that, and they could even make horror movies. Like, why not? Why not make Marvel-based horror movies? Let's do it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would be a good direction for them to branch off from the superhero stuff.
Yep.
Because, I mean, Marvel was good at that stuff back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah, they were. Think about it. You could do something really cool because, one of Moon Knight's things is, at one point anyway, he's driven insane, right? He goes nuts, literally crazy
Right,
from
right.
Kansu and him. And you could have some really cool mental mindfuckery horror movies. What's the word I'm looking for? Thrillers. You could get some psychological thrillers that could really get in there and do some crazy stuff. I think that's a good idea, and I hope they do that because the formula of snarky superheroes is worn itself out. The welcome's gone.
It's gotten way old.
Yeah, I don't think anybody really wants to see that anymore because it's just, we've seen it. We've seen it for a decade now, and they did a pretty good job with it, so let's try some new stuff, guys. Marvel has this huge, massive catalog of cool characters with cool backstories and cool environments and even different genres you can play with, going back all the way back, back to the way back in the day. Do it. Let's play with it. Let's have a Marvel Cinematic Universe section of it that is, call it Bump in the Night or something. Call what you don't have to call it that, but call whatever you want. And it's just horror movies, or it doesn't necessarily be full horror, just supernatural movies.
Heck, give me a Creatures Unleashed movie.
Yeah,
just one shot movie.
Lean into it. Why not? There's no good reason not to at least give it a shot. I know that whoever it was, Universal, whoever was trying to do that Darkverse with the old classic, movie monsters, and it completely flopped. But with Marvel's branding behind it, you could basically do that. That was because
their direction was horrible.
Oh, it was terrible. That first movie was ridiculous. But you could do something really cool here and have Moon Knight be one of the, especially with Oscar Isaacs playing him, and he's, a fairly decently sized name now. You could do some pretty cool stuff with him as a central figure in this new world where he's basically a caped crusader, but not against crime necessarily. It's against
against
evil.
Supernatural activity. Yeah, that would be really cool. A great example of Egyptian themed film is the Hammer Mummy films. If you've never seen those, they're really good. Me and Brett have been watching those in recent weeks. And
no, they are really good.
Yeah, the Hammer stuff, especially the first Curse of the Mummy, I believe it is, is phenomenally good. I forgot how good that stuff is, and it's very heavily Egyptian themed, obviously.
Oh yeah, the original ones especially.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even have to necessarily be horror. It could just be, heavily supernatural in tone.
You have
and
different types of horror.
Too, right? Exactly. Because you have, you don't have just fright horror, which is what most horror is nowadays. Just startles.
Right.
you can have stuff that's just kind of fucked up, and it's just
Eerie.
like sticks in your head and eerie and like
Eerie.
that tone, that setting.
That type of stuff sets with me better than like
Yeah,
the slasher gore stuff.
a
Like
lot of the Hammer stuff. That's what it is. It's got a
that's why Hammer's
creepy,
better than a lot of other films.
psychological, deep, long tone where it takes a while to get from point A to point B, but because it takes a while, especially in like a lot of these old scary movies, old horror films, it just the tension and the atmosphere
So
just builds up and until eventually something happens. And they just don't really do that very often now in movies,
no,
any kind of movie.
Yeah.
It's pretty rare that that's done at all. You could do some really cool stuff with Moon Knight that way, man. Some really cool
yeah,
stuff building to this big crescendo of just horror and thriller and action. Just a really cool. Oh man, there's so much potential there. I hope Marvel leans into it. I hope they get away from the formula of just superhero stuff with a bunch of snark, because I just think that's played out. I don't think anybody's interested in that
Yeah.
anymore, to be honest.
totally played out.
Well, sorry about that. I had to go feed my dog. He was sitting here giving me those puppy dog eyes. I couldn't stand it
That's
anymore.
fine.
But Ash is being sarcastic. Cool. But here's the thing: the reason why I said that, and it sounds like you guys are still talking about it, was
Yeah.
because one, Kevin Feige doesn't seem to be paying much attention to these things. He seems to be focused elsewhere, for one,
Yes.
and we know
Seems
Bob
that.
Chapek is pushing hard with the finances anyway.
Yeah.
So
Oscar Isaac
Well,
was actually was Dune's good. Like if you haven't seen that yet, Chester, you need to. It's good. The more it's one of the. Remember when Adrian knows this specifically because he was one of the first persons I vented to about it. But do you remember after Endgame how I just slowly started to hate it more and more and more and more and more
yeah,
because I started to
yeah.
think about it more and more the farther away from it I got
Me
to the
and you
point where
both.
I
I
told
just
you
couldn't.
day one it sucked balls.
No, I agreed with you. I didn't like it day one, but it
Yeah, I
went from
agreed with you
disliking
too.
it to just pure vitriolic hatred within a few days because I just couldn't stop thinking about the stupidity of it. Anyway, Dune is the exact opposite. The more I think about that movie, because I went in there with such
Good
low
sign.
expectations, I like it more, and I actually want to go see it again. The soundtracks, like simple things that movies often don't get right anymore when you're trying to make these big epic movies. The soundtrack is amazing. It's so good, but I didn't even notice it when I was watching the movie because it had me. I went back and like some other people showed me some of the soundtrack. I was like, holy crap, that was in there. I'm like, I just missed stuff in this movie because it had me. I
have
was pulled
listened.
in and ready to go. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have listened to that soundtrack. It's a really good soundtrack.
It's a good movie. It really is.
Yeah,
I want to see it
haven't got to
again
see it yet. I want to see it, but
before I give it like my final verdict on it, but I was very impressed. Villanueva did a fantastic job with what he was given, and I liked it. I liked it a lot.
That's cool.
so
And I like his
back to
movies
the
anyway.
subject
Yeah.
that what we were talking about with the horror stuff, right?
Yep.
It would be nice to have a change of pace with this type of thing.
It
And
would.
you tell me what kind of stuff out there right now even is on that kind of wave frame. Like there is nothing really horror related, but
Good horror.
and I'm not talking like slasher. I'm talking like what we were saying, like
Yeah.
eerie, psychological, like
Yeah.
dark,
Patience.
Hitchcock
not
style.
gory.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hitchcockian kind of stuff. You don't have that out there anymore. It would be a good market to try to at least bring back these kind of films.
You know, and what they could do as well is these are smaller characters, which is lets them get a little more freedom, putting that base. Then you can introduce Fantastic Four because that is a horror comic book initially.
Yep.
Then you can introduce
Yeah,
the
initially.
X-Men into that vein as well because you can make them horror easy, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
You
That
can
might
do
be a good
really
way to do
cool
it.
stuff. What I was saying, I don't know if you were here when I was saying this, but the person that should be at the center of all of this branch of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, would be Moon Knight. He's perfect for it
He is.
because he can be anything. He's almost a blank slate in a lot of ways, and I think you could do some really cool stuff with him, especially if you went down the route of him being insane, uh, you could do some crazy psychological stuff.
You
But
could.
he could be at the center of it and be the Iron Man of this branch of it, and that could be awesome. That
It
could
could
just
be.
it could just be
And
cool. They
and
could do cool stuff, and they're just don't seem to want to. It's
and you
weird.
have the perfect crossover guy in Doctor Strange. Oh wait, he was created that way initially anyway. But
Well, it'd
Yes.
be
of course,
nice to have something like this, anyways, because like you were talking about the epic thing, right? Like, e- epic movies are nice, but they're also been played out quite a bit
yeah,
lately. It would be
Yeah.
nice to kind
small.
of bring it down.
Yeah, yeah. And besides, they wouldn't do that anyway. They're about to kill Doctor Strange anyhow.
That's
Scarlet
Yep.
Witch, new Sorcerer Supreme. Get used to it. All right.
Yep. Yep.
Now,
Yep.
this is
Yep.
our last little bit today, and I think it connects everything we've been talking about today because it looks at what Sony is doing and how that might connect to what Marvel is doing. Go ahead.
Tom Holland Spider-Man rumored to get black symbiote suit.
At the
I have to say one
end
thing.
of the movie, it said.
Oh
I have to say
God.
one thing. Tom Holland, go away.
Yes.
Just please go away. I'm
100%.
sick of him as Spider-Man, and it's not even his fault. But at the same time, as long as he's around and willing to do it, they're going to keep doing it.
It is
Uh,
his fault.
go away from Spider-Man and go away from Nathan Drake. Just go
Oh, that
away.
was so bad. Did you see that trailer? Oh my God.
Not just the trailer. Just recently, he came out and he said, "Well, I made some mistakes playing this character, or something to that effect." Like, before the movie's out, he's already walking away from it. Like, oh
That's
boy,
not
this could be a
good.
good movie. This could be
But
good.
That's not good.
what I want to talk about with this is what Sony is doing. Because
Yeah,
when they came out with the Venom movie and no connection to Spider-Man whatsoever, we're all like, why? Why? It's one of the best story Spider-Man arcs of all time. Why? Why? So we get Venom, 2 movies in now, right? We have Spider-Man three movies in plus the Marvel stuff. He's getting this suit finally. So they're doing it reverse. Is Venom going to show up in this Spider-Man, or is it just another symbiote? We know that later there's a Craven movie coming, and Thunder and I were talking about this before the show, and we were saying, why is everything ass backward? Because that's what it
yeah.
is. It's literally backwards. Well,
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe that's exactly what they're doing. They're doing it backward, and they
Does
think
that
they're
make any
clever about
sense?
it.
But does that make any sense?
Hollywood people. I got a great idea. Whilst 5 bottles into vodka, right? Um, but I don't know because it seems quite clear at the end of the movie he does get the symbiote, a symbiote on him. And we know that there is a Craven movie confirmed cast coming later. So we're going to get Craven's Last Hunt. I think it's just being reversed. For some reason, they wanted Spider-Man and Venom to be a separate entity. I don't know why, but they have done
Question.
that. Well, go
I
ahead.
don't know much about this. I don't know much about the Spider-Man stuff as far as MCU goes because I've ignored most of it.
Oh, okay.
So this Craven movie, is Craven being introduced before he gets his own movie?
I don't know. He might get introduced somewhere as maybe a after credit scene in this movie or something. But since you don't know, and maybe there's others here that don't know, let me give you just a quick synopsis of what's happened to get Venom into the universe. Way back when, they had a thing called Secret Wars, where they had this character called the Beyonder, and the Beyonder was this ridiculous omnipotent character child that was playing around with the universe and just, oh, what's this, type of thing. And all the
Yeah.
heroes were brought to a planet and they were like having this big battle royale type of thing. And when they came and during that time, Peter found the symbiote suit, and he was like, oh, it gave him extra powers, it led him to fight more, and he came back and he was in the suit, and using it for a while, the black suit Spider-Man run, right? And
Yep.
then they had a comic book where he was there was a new villain, this character called Venom, that was literally eating people, just grabbing them off street and eating them, and it was a hard fight
Yeah,
for him.
yeah.
And in that, they kind of introduced the concept of Venom, right? And then later they developed it more, and Venom is the symbiote, right? And eventually
Right.
Spider-Man had to fight to get him off of him. But during that Craven's Last Hunt, Spider-Man has had this villain Craven. He's fought for quite a bit, and
Right.
Craven thinks he kills Spider-Man, but ultimately he Spider-Man recuperates and comes back to life. But during that, Craven felt that there was nothing more he could do in life. He had done his greatest accomplishment, so he put his shotgun in his mouth, sat in a coffin, and blew his head off.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good story.
Yeah, I've
Literally
heard
the
of
best
it's one of
Spider-Man
the
story.
best.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I've heard.
Now, what do we got here? We got Venom is some alien, and there's more than one of them. There's no connection to Spider-Man whatsoever, which is weird because Spider-Man brought it back from another planet, right? So we have Venom completely separated. We have Craven getting his own thing. Is there any connection? Doc Ock does show up in this No Way Home. I guess he is the main or one of the villains, and it seems like it's very much the old Doc Ock we got from the earlier movies, right?
Yeah.
So there's a multiverse thing going on here. We know that Marvel is pushing a multiverse thing. So, which is why I'm wondering if we're getting a lot of more crossover between Sony and Disney than we thought. But that's it. And I'm curious, and Thundero is curious, why everything's being done ass backward. And
The
maybe
only thing
someone,
I can figure is the plan here is going to be now for Craven, uh, because Craven's whole point is he's a big game hunter basically, like a
Right.
super big game hunter,
Right.
and the reason he goes after Spider-Man is because he feels like he's the ultimate test, which is
yeah,
why once he beats him, he kills
greatest hunt.
himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, his greatest hunt.
Right. Right.
So maybe the way they're doing it backwards is they're still going to have that part of Craven's last hunt be the story. It's just the way he gets to it is backwards, meaning the Venom as its own separate entity hadn't been a thing yet in the comic, because it wasn't a thing yet, at least not in Spider-Man's world, because it wasn't a thing yet until Spider-Man got it off of him.
Right.
And then it went and merged with Eddie Brock and became Venom. We are
And
Venom.
then tried his best to get back on Peter. Now that's
Yes,
true. And Ash, you're right. What I'm saying is he's correct. In Secret Wars, it wasn't the symbiote yet. But what I'm
right.
saying is in Kraven's Last Hunt is when somebody over there at Marvel had the idea of the Venom, and in Kraven's Last Hunt is when they introduced the idea or concept of Venom, and then
Yes.
later it was fleshed out. That's what I mean. You're
But my
correct. When
point
he
is,
brought it back from Secret Wars, it wasn't a symbiote. It was just a little magical black ball suit thing. Yeah.
correct. My point is like we were saying, they've done it backwards. So,
Yeah.
whereas Venom is its own thing and has always been its own thing, and it merged with Brock in literally his own universe. Um, all of that. I mean, I guess that's fine as long as the gravitas of Craven and his story plays out basically the same way. The problem is if you were to do it chronologically, if you were to do it the correct order, you have 4 to 5, maybe even 6 fantastic stories to tell in order. Boom, 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 boom. With Craven being the first, you start off with Craven, Spider-Man and Craven's last hunt. Um, or you could even start with him getting the symbiote somehow. If you're not going to do the Secret War, which would make sense because that would be a little silly to just do that randomly. Okay, so don't do that. But you start off with him getting it somehow. Lead into right off of that, boom, Craven shows up into either the first or that movie or the next movie. Probably could do that all in one movie. Craven's there. He comes after Spider-Man. Do the whole Craven last hunt. Go right into this. Go right into Eddie. Have the Eddie Brock thing happen during that. Where the reason he hates Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, is because he ruins his career and all this other stuff. Or at least that's how Brock sees it. And eventually, Venom him and Venom merge, kind of accidentally at first, if I remember correctly, and he becomes Venom as we know it. The symbiote
Right.
in him merge, and that's
Right.
what makes Venom.
And you can do the whole
Um,
thing backwards. You can. It
yeah,
just makes a
yeah,
lot more work for yourself.
makes a lot more work and makes a lot more sense the other way. And I think the other way is a better story, and you can get, like I said, you could get 4 or 5 films out of this, 3, 4, 5 films out of this easily, especially with the black suit, especially with Um, Spider-Man's arc with the black suit into Venom, because Venom should really be done over 2 movies, in my opinion. You can't really do that storyline in one film without rushing it, as we've seen, as they tried. And I think you do that over 2 movies, then you could go right into Carnage. But they've done it
They've already done
completely
it. It's
backwards.
already done
Yeah,
it, and you've completely removed any potential you have for there to be angst between Spider-Man and the Venom symbiote.
right.
So why is there going to be now? You're going to have to recreate something or not do it at all, I guess. But because
I
you
had
know,
a
yeah, go ahead.
I had a few issues of the Black Spider-Man. How long did that run last for?
Well, it was a little while. I remember there was
It
a
was a
bunch of
while,
comics with
yeah.
him. I had owned a bunch, but yeah, I really didn't get the feeling that they were hinting at something until Craven's Last Hunt, because in there it's not completely fleshed out. It's not completely in your face, but it's clear that something this possibly this suit is corrupting him, right? And
Yeah, I
eventually
remember
is
the
why he
issues
gets
I
rid of the
had.
suit.
He
But
was struggling with it.
Right, but I think in that particular series, limited series, they really started pushing it. I don't know when the idea of Venom came into the minds of the writers at that time, but it was really being pushed that something is corrupting him. And then later, Venom was developed, and the reason why Venom has such a hate for Spider-Man is because he. The power of Spider-Man, it's just something he desperately wants. Ash here mentioning like a spurned lover type of thing, and that's true.
Yes.
It is true. But now you've separated that. You don't have that at all. So I don't think
Yeah,
this is going to be Eddie Brock's Venom, the symbiote. This is going to be another symbiote. I mean, because I don't know what they're doing
you're
there.
gonna lose an entire dynamic of the story.
Yes, you've lost it completely. It's already gone. So I'm not sure what they're doing or why they're doing it, and why is the more important thing, because you had such a successful run with that. You could have done it very simply, especially because we just had Spider-Man on an alien fucking planet in Infinity War.
Right.
Yep.
That's what I was just thinking, actually.
Well,
He,
here's what I would, if I was going to do this, which I wouldn't do it, but if since they're in the position they're in, the only way that it makes sense at all is for that Venom symbiote to somehow be the same symbiote from Spider-Man 3. Somehow. I don't know how you do it, how you make that
all
make
right.
sense, but that's the only way that could
Being the fact
possibly
that
work.
they're tying in those other Spider-Man films with this
Yes.
one, that
Yeah, that's
you're
true
correct.
Exactly.
That
because they're
would be
doing a
about the
multiverse
only
thing
way to
too.
get it to work.
That
Yeah,
is
that's
the
right.
only way it makes any
But
sense
that's
why
Eddie
he would
Brock
have
as
any
well.
connection. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's yeah. Well, it's a different Eddie Brock, but yeah,
It's a young
that's
Eddie
the
Brock.
only way it could have any connection whatsoever that makes sense without being a massive retcon of some nonsense to make it to where. Because if you watch that after credit scene for the new Venom movie, the Venom, the symbiote, clearly knows who Peter Parker is. Like he's clearly there's something there. Okay, I could believe that with multiverse nonsense, maybe somehow it got transported across, to a different world. Why not? That's possible. Um, maybe even you could even do, instead of doing a retcon saying that one was from Peter Parker, old Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire Parker's universe. It was actually from the universe that the Brock from the Venom movies is in, and had been pulled through there, and wimey blah 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 got sucked back into its own universe.
Yeah,
There's a lot of different ways you could do it
Yeah.
and still at least have had him be on Spider-Man at some point, to where he would have the connection and obsession,
right.
and maybe that's one of the reasons why he chose Brock, right? He ended up with Brock because the
Sure.
guy's name was Eddie Brock, so he knew the name.
Yeah, but
I don't
here's
know.
here's a problem that I think we're running into, because clearly Sony and Disney got this thing going on, right?
Yeah,
And they're
clearly.
both doing multiverse stuff. They're doing it in the movies. They're doing it in the comic books. And the problem with that is, and the same problem we see in the comic books, you're going to confuse people, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're trying to make a movie for the general population, you have to dumb it down. I'm
Yep.
not making any accusations here. I'm just saying you have to, and they do it a
No, you're
lot.
right. You're
Eh,
100% right.
right? And people, when they're making movies, they do that, and some of us fans get upset, but you shouldn't because they're trying to make something for the general audience. I don't mind it.
Yeah,
How are you going to make something for the general audience that is dealing with a jumping through multiverses, space and time, and make that easy for everyone to understand? Good
I
luck.
mean, it's hard. It's hard for some comic book fans to understand this stuff.
So
So,
yes, yes,
and we've
exactly.
been doing it for years.
And the Wakanda group is certainly going to be out of their depth.
Yeah.
I didn't mean nothing by that, by the way. Yeah. But anyone that's going up and was saying Black Panther was a great movie, there's something wrong with you. Anyway, yeah. Bring back Topher Grace. Marsupial, you win the day. Okay. It's true. A lot of dumb people not able to appreciate Dune. I'm sure. Just like Blade Runner and the Villeneuve's sequel to Blade Runner. Great, 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 great movie. Didn't make a lot of money. People didn't get it. It was boring, and it was freaking fantastic movie. But people don't get it. I guarantee you, Dune's going to
It was
fall
my
into that.
favorite. That was my favorite film of the year, and I got into quite a bit of discussions with people that just didn't get it.
It was amazing. It was really, really well done. I loved it.
Oh
Not
yeah,
they tied up. It was a perfect sequel because it tied up all the little knots. It completed the story 100%, and even left a little bit hanging if you wanted to continue it in a completely different vein. How
yeah.
could you possibly make a better sequel? Right? It's kind of like Judgment Day and the original Terminator. Nice little tight bow, right?
Yep. Yeah. No, and the great thing about Dune is I think people are appreciating it. It made its money, made enough. It did well enough that they immediately greenlit the sequel because they
I
hadn't
mean,
yet.
I've only heard a few people say that. The only thing I've heard people say is it's slow,
Yeah,
but
but it should
not
be.
that it isn't necessarily slow and boring. I haven't heard too many people say that it's slow and boring. I've just heard them say it's slow, but the world of Dune itself is intriguing enough that it kept the people watching it.
Well, the
Well,
reality is, Dune, the book, the story of Dune, isn't that good. It's just not. It's Frank Herbert's storytelling style is, well, it sucks. But his world building is top of the line. There's maybe nobody better. So the world that he builds, Dune, the universe of Dune, is spectacular in every way, and it comes through in the movie very strongly. It feels otherworldly. It feels different. I really think that Villanueva, he just got that idea. He understood what he was working with. He understood what he needed the movie to feel like, because the overarching story, the overarching narrative of the book and of the movie, of the universe or whatever you want to call it, it's not like a super strong, solid. I mean, it's solid, but it's not like this great, world-changing level of story. It's
Right.
just a pretty good sci-fi story with an like sci-fi fantasy pseudo-religious type deal story, but it's set in a place, not just Arrakis, but the whole universe around it, that is so, at the time anyway, unique or relatively unique and so spectacular that it makes it a very special thing. And that's what he seems to have understood. And that's why you have these long, slow shots and this very atmospheric setup for it, and this great cinematography, which cinematography, when done well and in the right movie, changes everything. Well, changes pretty much every movie, changes everything. He knew what he was doing there. He wasn't trying to necessarily tell a deep interpersonal story. It has those moments, but he is trying to give you scope and grandeur and scale, and he does a fantastic job with it from beginning to end with this film. And that is what Dune should be, because that's what makes Dune Dune. It's a near biblical story. The damn books are humongous,
yeah, I know
and
they
it's
are. Yeah.
the world building. It's because of the world building. That's
Yeah.
why, because he
Well,
builds this insanely complicated, intricate world.
I think Villeneuve is a very good filmmaker. I think he's
Yeah.
very good. I like his stuff. And Ash, don't associate me with Thundero. I like Herbert's books. Don't
There
put
are
I
me.
didn't
people
say I
that
dislike Herbert's
do.
books. I just said they're not great stories. They're
Yeah,
great
Yeah, there
Ash
are
world.
hates
people
you
that
now, and
think.
he's going to seek your death. So
Yeah, you're going to get death threats here
yes, death
soon.
Oh,
threats are
that's all
coming.
TMZ can
right.
write.
We're
TMZ can write an article about it for you.
oh goodness gracious! But I am going to check out Dune when I get an opportunity to. And you know, I kind of figured with him doing it was going to be cool. I was just really worried about the studio involvement, not him, right?
I don't think they meddled. I know there was a lot
Clearly
of
they
rumor and
did. He
stuff.
said they did. He
Yeah, but
said
I
they
don't. If they
forced him to
did,
do
he's
that
a
race and gender swap. He
well.
said they
Yeah,
did.
that is in there. But if they meddled more than that, he's a master at hiding it. He genuinely is, because it's just Dune. Like, I mean, yeah, there's some stuff that's not there and blah blah blah, but I mean, that's gonna happen. Like I said, those books are Bibles. But everything else is Dune. The feel of it is exactly what it was like when I read Dune when I was like 17. I got the same feeling from it. And that is impressive to do, because that is, as we've seen, near impossible. It's a Herculean task to pull that off, to take a massive epic book and turn it into a movie.
Yeah.
It
I
just
just
doesn't happen.
I just wish they would instead of keep retelling the first book, please continue. Because I like the later books more than the early books.
They might. If they keep being successful, why not? He has planned just 2 movies, which is basically just Paul's story, I think is the plan. But why not? Keep going. If they're still making money, if they can make 11 fucking Fast and Furious movies, we can get 4 or 5 Dune movies out of Villanueva.
Yeah, I want to see the giant worm slug emperor of the universe. That's what I want.
Yep.
Yeah. But we will never get that. I am sure we'll never get that. However, interesting stories today. We talked a lot about more of the supernatural side of Marvel, which I got my fingers crossed, man. I hope it's just fun. I would like
Yeah.
to see them lean into that more. I would like to see them bring the Fantastic Four through that, because they should be a horror movie. So fingers crossed. But today was fun. We had a couple of idiots to laugh at, but in general, it was interesting conversations. Thank you very much, Adrian, for coming in and joining us. You're always
Yeah.
welcome, sir. But yeah, we're gonna get closing comments here and get out. I've gone way deep today, but that's okay. I am off today. I don't have to work. I'm actually going out on the boat here in a
Oh,
few
listen to this
minutes.
rich son of a bitch. Listen to him.
Hey now, don't pick on my boat. You guys hate my boat. It's a nice boat. It's a good day too. It's sunny day. You got a little bit of
Oh, it's
wind.
beautiful here too, man.
Yeah.
Beautiful day.
Yeah,
Absolutely
all
gorgeous
but
day.
it's beautiful. All but the freaking crossbreed Japanese beetle ladybugs that are coming out all over the place.
Oh, sweet. They're gonna
Yeah.
eat. They're gonna eat your face. Watch out. But no, I got to
I
move the
already
boat
gotten
over
bit
to
by
the.
them a couple times.
I got to move it over to the the town next door, and put it.
Esther, when you get done boating, go see Dune.
Well, I don't think I'll do that today.
This
But
guy.
I gotta take it out of the water and get it for the winter and stuff. So I gotta take care of that
What's
today.
the general? So it's over there right now, right? What's the general reception with the Japanese people
I
with
have
that
not heard
movie?
a single
You know?
peep about it at all.
Yeah, that's
Nothing.
not surprising.
Yeah. I don't know that it's something that would really pique the interest of the Japanese. It's way too
That's what I
slow and
wondered.
mundane for them. They like weird
Yeah,
shit. I don't know if you've noticed.
I think what's
yeah,
going to
I know.
happen
That's
is
why I
this
like
first
their
one.
stuff.
It's gonna be kind of the opposite of what usually happens with these trilogies, or these sets of films. Is the first one's not gonna make a ton of money. It's gonna make good money. It's already made over 300 million, something like that. So it's made its money back.
I don't know,
Um,
but yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be the big huge one. I think the second one will be, though. I think because it has
Well,
such a strong audience love of it, and it surprised so many people and caught them off guard. I think the next one will be much more of the event that they were hoping this first one will be,
Oh, I mean,
and
the
they'll make a
second one,
bunch of
which is
money.
all about Zendaya. Yeah, that's gonna be great.
Well, people won't know that going in.
It's true. They got to get him. All right, guys. I definitely got to go though, because I got to get this done in the next
Gotta
few
get on the
hours.
boat. Yeah,
Well,
this
I got to
guy, I
get it
tell
out.
you.
I got to get it out of the water. Winter's coming, and I got to get it the bottom cleaned and all that kind of stuff. Uh, it's part of the responsibility owning a boat, Thundero.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But I
Don't you
got to
have
only.
people to hire to do that?
I could, I suppose, but I don't know. It's fun. It's only going to take me about, I don't know, 45 minutes to an hour to get it to the dock. So I just got to get it done before the sun goes down, and I got to get it done before 5 is really what I got to get it done by. But it's easy enough. I get everything taken care of. I'll probably be in the next hour and a half. I'll probably have it out of the water. So.
Right.
So anyway, all right, guys. Thank you very much. And any closing comments, Adrian?
I'll go with the what me and Thundaro were talking about earlier. If you've never checked out Hammer horror films
Oh
from the
yeah,
past,
those are great.
uh, those are good examples of where Marvel could go with these new, darker, supernatural things. Check them out.
No, Hammer Horror is awesome, dude. Definitely check that shit out. All right, then. Well, thank you very much, guys. And tomorrow, I think we will be wrapping up the Tyranny of Dragons. So come and check that out if you're interested in that kind of stuff. We'll see you next week for sure. And if any of you guys have any ideas on, CFT, Tinfoil Talk stuff, or things you'd like us to talk about, please drop it in the Discord. I'm sure Thundero has dropped it many times, and maybe he'll drop the link again because we definitely enjoy doing that from time to time. It takes me a little time to prepare for it, but that's why I need it ahead of time so I can do that. But other than that, thank you, and Thundero, take us out of here, man.
I've said this one before, but I like it. It's a good one. Everybody needs to find their hill. There's 3 hills every man, every woman, every child should see before they die. The hill they'll live on, the hill they'll die on, and the hill they'll kill on. Find your hill.
Namaste. My hill's usually called a tata, but to each his own. Later.
Later.